Welcome back, guys. Welcome back again to Dave's Dimension. Welcome back again to the channel that is your home for tech, toys, and talk. And of course, the channel where chaos and insanity will always reign supreme. We're back again for Tuesday Night Talks. We got a amazing show for you guys. We got a guy who does not only one channel, he's got two channels. This guy's got two channels. We're going to be bringing on David's Life, and he also has a second channel called Gamr for Life. We're going to get into that in a little bit, but we've had some crazy, some kind of crazy entertainment news kind of hit the airwaves. I'm actually going to bring that up right now. Actually, this was reported today by Variety and, of course, every other news outlet out there, and a few YouTubers trying to act like they broke the news themselves. But we're not going to get there. Legacy. So here we go. Yeah, so Nicolas Cage, not only is Nick Cage going to be reprising his character of Spider Noir. If you're not familiar with it, the character of Spider Noir is an alternate Spider-Man universe where he's got the kind of like the shadow dark man vibes going on, like a 1930s 40s kind of detective beat going on, but he's a Spider-Man in that era. He's also Nicolas Cage also voiced him in the Into the Spider-Verse, Cross the Spider-Verse, and of course the next Spider-Verse movie that's coming up I think later this year or possibly next year. So not only has he gotten rave reviews for his portrayal, and let's be honest, Nicolas Cage is voicing a cartoon, an animated character, was pretty amazing all onto itself. But now he actually signed on with MGM Plus and Amazon Prime Video to do live action. We're going to get a live action, not a movie, but a series. So it's cool that they're doing this limited series. It says here, right here, Nicolas Cage will once again play Spider-Man Noir, but this time in a live action series. It's going to be interesting to see, how much of him is live action. It might just be a live action series, but we might just hear him voice. We don't know, is he going to pull the mask off? It's going to be interesting to kind of dive into a Spider character, but it says here, set to star in live action Noir, which has been ordered to a series at MGM Plus and Amazon Prime Video. MGM Plus is obviously its own little separate streaming service. Let's be honest, everyone's going to have their own streaming services nowadays. We'll see how long that streaming service lasts. It'd be interesting to see what happens. This series will debut domestically on MGM Plus's linear channel, followed by a global launch on Prime Video. No set time frames for this. Of course, this was reported in development back in February of 2023, so well over a year ago. Cage was not attached at that time, but he is today. The announcement was made ahead of Amazon's upfront presentation to advertisers in New York on Tuesday, meaning today. So it's going to be kind of interesting to see what happens. MGM Plus, I mean, a few people have talked about it, a few people have heard about it. But let's be honest, a lot of streaming services are kind of in trouble right now, Paramount being one of them. It was announced, last week or so, that Disney Plus is going to be getting in an agreement to bundle services, Disney Hulu, with Max. Of course, formerly known as HBO Max, and now known as Max. Who knows? It might become Disney Max for all that we know. You just never know. Because they've been having a lot of issues. I mean, let's be honest, they were carrying almost everything that they had under the Disney umbrella, but some of that stuff is gone and is being distributed elsewhere. Warner Brothers and Discovery, they've kind of done a crap job with Max. Then now they're they're offshooting, they're unloading the streaming rights for a lot of their superhero stuff over to other platforms. So it's going to be interesting to see what MGM Plus does. MGM Plus, they would be smart to latch on. It's cool that they're getting in partnership with Sony. Rumor had it that Sony was actually looking at trying to buy into Paramount Plus or another streaming provider or streaming service. So it's going to be interesting to see what really happens. Now, in other sci-fi entertainment news, anyone who's a Doctor Who fan, like this guy, was treated to 2 Doctor Who episodes this past weekend on Disney Plus. Yes, Disney Plus is now the new streaming home for new Doctor Who produced programming. I will say this: I have dropped a review on the first episode, which is called Space Babies. I know it sounds like a bad sci-fi show. Trust me, Doctor Who's good. Um, it was different. It was also very interesting to see where they're taking the narrative of the show. The second episode, which was the Devil's Cord, I'm going to be dropping that review on Thursday, so please check it out. Is it classic Who? No. It has a little bit of silliness, a little bit of craziness, but Russell T Davies is definitely taking that show not to its 2005 roots, but he's taking it in a lot of different directions, a lot of nods to a lot of different, more of a modernization, because let's be honest, it's 2024. He brought that show back in 2005. That was 19 years ago. A lot can change in 20 years. So all I'm going to say is this: if you were a fan of Russell T Davies, do not fret. There's some awesomeness coming. This week's episode, dropping on Saturday, which drops on Disney Plus, is actually written by Moffat, who was a former showrunner. So it's going to be interesting to see how that one entails. I definitely think it's going to be a great, fun, amazing season. It's the Doctor. You just never know what you're going to get. So, but lo and behold, let's talk about a couple other things. Now, before I bring David on, I want to talk about something that's near and dear to my heart. Now, we do not have any sponsorship. We are not monetized. However, this stream is brought to you by Stream for the Cure, which happens this Saturday morning and afternoon. Brought to you by Dave's Dimension. You guys know I'm part of the Ride for Roswell. Every year, I take part in this massive bike riding fundraising initiative known as the Ride for Roswell. Those who don't know, Roswell Park Comprehensive Cancer Institute has been around for well over a century. It's one of the country's leading cancer research and treatment centers in the country. They've been literally around since the 1890s. The Ride for Roswell actually began in the late 1980s, and this is my fourth year being a part of it. It is an amazing cause. Every nickel, every dollar, every dime goes to cancer research and development of new treatments. Personally, my mother had skin cancer for a number of years. She had to go to Roswell for treatments, but that cancer, I'm not going to go into details. It wasn't what killed her. She was a heavy smoker, so there's those concerns. But she was someone who, the skin cancer or how it manifested made her very self-conscious about herself. Cancer isn't just a physical ailment. There's a mental, a psychological aspect to it. It can tear people up. It can really change people permanently from who they were. And Roswell Park, that's what they're about. They're about trying to make you feel like a person, not like a patient, not a number, not something in a petri dish. They try and treat you like a real person. My father, when he passed away, we found out he was hiding cancer from us. I have a cousin right now, family member, who is battling cancer, and this person, they actually told me that going into Roswell, it didn't feel like an over sterilized hospital. It felt like a welcoming place. Okay, Roswell does this. They do everything they can to make you feel like a real person, to keep that humanity going, to keep your hope up, and they keep pushing and pushing. And each year they keep going bigger and bigger. I think the past 2 years they've raised about $5.7 million a year. The past couple of years, they're striving to hit 6 this year. I'm hoping you guys will consider donating to Roswell Park. I have the donation link in the video description below. But also, you guys know I talk about Stream for the Cure. Stream for the Cure is my little wacky initiative to try and fundraise for a Ride for Roswell. If you want in on it, now it's going to be a 10-hour stream. Yes, that's right. I'm streaming 10 hours, 10 a.m. Eastern until 8 p.m. Eastern this Saturday, May 18th, 2024. If you want in on it, we have about 7 or 8 wheels of prizes that we're giving away. Okay. All these are amazing prizes, including, if you're a Star Wars fan, let's just throw this up there. Thanks to the wonderful, the phenomenal Mr. B, we will be spinning off the wheel and giving away a Captain Rex clone helmet produced by Hasbro and Star Wars Black Series. So if you're a big collector, you want in on this, this is one of the amazing prizes we're giving away. We have several NECA. We have several 2-packs of NECA action figures that we're giving away. We have several comic book collectible boxes that we were giving away. We have a special horror NECA being given away by Captain Spaulding. The 2 comic book collectible boxes we are giving away are courtesy of Dre of the Collector Safe Space. And also, of course, I'm giving away a few boxes of my own. A few of the 2-pack NECAs are actually courtesy of me. They're unopened, brand new figures that you will love, especially if you're a collector. You're gonna love them. I got some Ninja Turtle ones that anyone would be dying for. Plus, I'm giving away a special Ghostbusters box. So please, if you want in on this, all you have to do is donate $10 to Ride for Roswell. Take a screen capture, a screenshot of that donation you made. Send that to me either at Dave's_dimension on Instagram or email me at davesdimension78@gmail.com. Help me help Roswell, and let's ride for a cure, guys. We're aiming to do as much as we possibly can. I'm going to keep going and keep doing it because not just because I've had family members who have battled with it. I have friends who have battled with it, who are still battling it. Cancer doesn't care. No matter how old you are, no matter what race you are, no matter what your health status, you could be the picture of health and get stricken with a form of cancer. You know, you could be the most unhealthiest person, but guess what? It might not get you. It might not. It's a friggin' crapshoot half the time. And some people even get it multiple times. You know, it's not like, oh, I beat it once and I'm good. Sometimes it hits people multiple times. Like I said, cancer doesn't care, but that's where we come in. In fact, yesterday I did the slow roll in Buffalo, New York, which is there's a bike club known as a slow roll. They do a nice paced ride throughout different parts of the city of Buffalo. And yesterday it happened to do the kickoff was right at Roswell Park's Outreach Center in downtown Buffalo. So guys, that's what it's about. It's about trying to make a difference. And each of these boxes we're giving away, the minimum box retails for $50. Okay. So $10 is a drop in the bucket. That's like a pastry and a coffee at Starbucks, guys. Come on. It's the least you can do. And that $10 goes directly to Roswell Park. I am not handling any money at all. You are donating directly to the Ride for Roswell. You get it right there, and you make a world of difference. One $10 donation gets your name in on all the wheels. It's kind of a no-brainer right there. If you're a collector or you know someone who is a collector in your life, you want to try and win them something awesome, $10 donation gets your name in on all the wheels. It's pretty awesome right there, guys. So with that being said, I'm going to have the scrolling marquee at the bottom of the screen talking, reminding you about Stream for the Cure, reminding you on how to donate. So please join me this Saturday. And by the way, this Saturday is actually an open stream. So anybody and their grandmother can come on, promote their channels, promote anything you have. If you have an Etsy store you want to promote that, hey, if you got a lemonade stand in North Tonawanda, you're trying to promote, hey, come on, it's going to be a fun time. It's a fun hangout. It's an elimination wheel, last person standing, and we're going to have fun with it. So without further ado, I would like to introduce now this, when I did the announcement that I was going to change Tuesday nights to being, I wanted to host other channels, other content creators to help people grow, because I'm at a point where I've been doing this for about 4 years, and I'm, honest. YouTube and content creating can get you down at times. So I'm of the mindset that I want to help others grow. For some bizarre reason, this channel has grown and grown and grown, and there's a lot of outreach. I kind of have my hand in a lot of different cookie jars as far as different communities, collecting, gaming, just all over the place, and I want to give back. So this man messaged me on he emailed me and found out this guy's local. It's kind of crazy. I found out another local guy who's YouTubing, and his name is David. Go figure. So all you guys in the chat, and we got quite a few of you in the chat, I want to first welcome our guest, David's Life, also known as Gamr for Life. Welcome to the Dimension. Welcome to Tuesday Night Talks.
Hello.
Don't worry, the chat, they don't bite that much.
Okay.
Cool. So let's just go through the chat right here. We got Bree popping in saying yay while she's still awake.
Mm-hmm.
Duffman's diorama. If you're into collecting, this guy makes some amazing hand-built dioramas. Of course, I'm a Ghostbuster fan, and I have the firehouse right there. Right?
Yeah, That's awesome.
Duffman made that by hand.
Okay.
This guy is an amazing collector, whether it's 1/6 scale like Hot Toys. He makes amazing dioramas by hand. He's just phenomenal. He's one of the best guys around. Nothing but love for him. I consider he's like family. I mean, he is a good guy. He's helped me out with fundraising for Toys for Tots and a bunch of other charities. So he's amazing. He's definitely someone, if you're on Instagram, you should definitely check out. Of course, everyone's saying hello to everybody else. We got Mirage in the chat. Mirage is the master when it comes to Gundams. I don't know, David, if you're familiar with Gundams.
No, I think I know a friend that is, but I'm
running anime, or there's also a good fandom where you actually build the Gundam robots.
Okay.
Also known as Gunpla, and this guy knows everything. I mean, Mirage, it's true. You know just about anything and everything, especially the latest and greatest kits that are coming out. Breeze, of course, saying hello to everyone, saying doing well. We also have next week's guest, Nick Tellett, Nick of Nick Channel, who actually hosts a Power Rangers podcast and YouTube channel. And he's going to be covering content in the future about the Legend of the White Dragon, which was Jason David Frank's last film and project. Right. So we're going to have him on next week, and he's going to talk all about that. So guys, please stay tuned to next week as well. Duffman saying hello to everyone. Of course. Somebody got a Cannerade because we got a Britterbug in the chat. Britterbug Gaming, she's a very fun, very awesome, family-friendly gaming channel. So as a fellow gamer, you might want to check Britterbug. She drops videos almost every day, and she has live streams on Saturday nights. She does a Fortnite stream and a few other rotating games. She covers just about everything you could possibly think of. She especially is
Hello? All right. Well, I don't know. Dave? Well, that's going to happen.
Okay, guys. Sorry about this. Some technical difficulties here. David, are you still there?
Dave?
Yes. Hold on 1 second.
Okay.
Trying to get you added back on. I apologize for this. Looks like you have
no problem
here, so I'm going to delete one.
Okay.
Let me know if you're still. I apologize, guys. Weird technical difficulties with the connection.
Okay. I thought it was me for a second. I'm like, what did I do?
No, for some reason, StreamYard was losing connection with its server. So.
Okay. must be down for maintenance.
Duff Man knows not OBS.
Can you see me okay? I feel like
I'm getting a blank screen right now.
Okay.
I hear a little echo,
Okay.
but that's okay. So I apologize for that, guys. Apparently StreamYard is being StreamYard. I don't know what happened. Because it was giving me a Wi-Fi connection issue, and guess what? The computer is not Wi-Fi. It's actually direct plugged in. So I apologize for that, guys. So technical difficulties. We are back. So David, why don't you tell us? Well, first off, tell everybody about David's life and about Gamer for Life.
So David's life. You guys can hear me, okay?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. Gamr for David's Life is a vlog channel for in and around Western New York. I do a lot of ride-along series. I do a lot of gaming on my gaming channel. Favorite thing to do is to watch traffic, and I live stream it. I also live stream my gamings almost every day. There's something going on both channels. Down the Roseville Balloon Rally. Been there over the summer. It's in July. Let's see what else do I do? I do a lot of hockey games. Well, I used to do a lot of hockey games, that is. And before COVID, let's see. Give my opinions on movies on my personal channel, as well as TV shows. Right now, up on the channel is a review for the movie Asteroid City, as well as AI music. That's going to be premiering every Monday till the end of the year, and into February. For the gaming channel, I've got NHL, NFL, Sims 4 content, and a bunch of random games from Steam as well. Upload from the Steam side. Let's see. That's just it in a nutshell. I live in North Carolina, so we're not too far away.
Hey, NC, yeah. See?
Yeah, pretty insane. I'm sorry for the visual. I don't know why my camera dropped out.
I found out that apparently there's a Wi-Fi outage that just happened.
Okay.
Do you have Spectrum?
Yes, but according to my phone, which is what I'm streaming on, is I've got Wi-Fi.
Yeah, so it's apparently, Spectrum's connection isn't always the greatest. Trust me, I worked for them for 9 years.
Gotcha. I was actually gonna work for them.
Yeah, I worked for them for 9 years, back to the old Time Warner days. So it's a thing. And I want to say hello to General Lax Sivrak, who's in the chat. And of course, we got Bly Mag, another gaming channel as well. I want to welcome you guys to the chat. And if anyone has any questions for David, not me, but David, please feel free to throw it in the chat and we'll bring it up. So let me ask you.
Oops, sorry.
You there?
Yep. Hello?
Yes. We can hear you.
Okay. I was gonna say I got 2 questions for you. You're doing the 10-hour stream. That's a lot of Tim Hortons coffee, no?
Actually, believe it or not, no. I'm not a coffee drinker.
Gotcha. Well, the other one is the Rice Frog Sauce. It's a very good cause. But they have 3 different routes. Which one are you doing?
Well, there's more than 3 routes.
Oh, okay, I only know of 3.
Okay. Last year, I actually did the Canadian route.
Canadian route, interesting.
Yeah, so that's actually where you're going from Roswell Parks itself, downtown Buffalo, and then over the Peace Bridge.
Okay.
And riding along the Canadian side all the way to Niagara Falls. Then coming back over that bridge and riding all the way back to University of Buffalo.
Nice.
It's about 44 miles.
Wow.
There's a 45-mile country route.
Yeah.
Because I think what you're thinking of, locally there is a 10, a 20, and a 30-mile route. But then there's actually, I think, 6 or 7 or maybe even 8 different routes technically you could do.
8 to
So
10 rounds. Crazy.
yeah, it's pretty insane. So looks like we have questions.
Cool.
Okay, David, what is your favorite game to play so far?
I like a lot of creative games, so I'm mostly into Sims 4, but right now I've been doing a lot of NHL and NFL.
Okay,
NHL schedule is uh, at least a couple games a week, like an actual traditional NHL schedule.
okay.
And then the NFL schedule is Sunday, Mondays. I haven't really touched
Now,
the
do
NFL.
you play the Sabres? Let's be honest.
Of course. There's no other team than Buffalo, even though we don't. There you go, bud.
Good man.
Yeah, yeah.
Good man. Gotta love the
You get it,
Sabres.
you get it. Well, my next question is, you want to talk about Saber soccer for a second. What do you think of the Lindy Ruff fire?
I actually love the Lindy Ruff
Same.
being back.
Absolutely love it. Absolutely.
I have friends who've said that they feel like it felt like fan service, but they felt it was natural but very expected.
Yes.
I will say this. Those that don't know, Lindy Ruff kind of stepped back from being the coach for the Sabres because his daughter was ill. I don't remember all the details of it, but I do remember him stepping back because his daughter was ill, and being a coach for a professional sports team takes up a lot of your time. So I have nothing but respect for him for doing that. I'm kind of glad he's coming back, and we'll see what happens. I'm hoping he's gonna work some magic, and maybe we'll actually go to the playoffs, and maybe who knows.
I remember why he stepped back. I have a weird brain like that. It was Madison, and she had a brain tumor or brain cancer.
Yes.
So
I mean, it's gonna be great to have him back. I definitely feel that him and the Bills coach are kind of maybe two sides of the same coin. I feel like
I could say yes. I can see that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So let's see what else we have going on here in the chat. Bird Bug's playing moderator here. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Dave's stream. If you haven't already, don't forget to smash that like button, share, and subscribe. But if you guys want to hit that like button, hit that share and subscribe, I want you to go into the video description below, and we have links for both of David's channels here, David's Life and also Gamer for Life. So please go and hit those links before you hit my subscribe button. So please go ahead and check him out. He's got amazing content that you guys won't miss out. Lax saying hello to brothers, sisters, friends, and lovers. Lex Severac is a character like that you've never met before.
Nice.
He's such a character. He should have his own TV series. Let's just put it that way. Fig Figure, if I may, at Dave's Dimension, I'm hearing some feedback from your end, and I'm sorry. You're probably now, David. I don't think you have headphones on, so you're probably getting the speaker through your microphone, and that's probably causing some feedback. But I apologize for that, guys.
Yeah.
StreamYard doesn't exactly have a quick fix for that.
Okay. You can run down and grab my headphones and see what I can do.
Oh, sure. Go right ahead. Nick is asking, do you make Power Ranger videos? Because you're talking about doing reviews.
So, yes, there is Once and Always review for the Netflix movie.
Awesome.
And that's the extent for right now because I haven't gotten around to watching the Netflix Power Rangers. I'm gonna go grab my headphones. See if that helps.
Go right ahead. So David's going to go ahead and get his phones. And in the meantime, let's just go through the chat here. Yeah, Lack brings up about the echo from David's side of the stream. Must be open on his side. Yeah, he's going to go get some headphones and see if we can resolve that for you guys very quickly. David might have stream on in the background. It's possible, but he is using his cell phone to stream. So any sound that's coming through it is automatically, your speakers and your mic is right here. So it's going to get picked up. So we'll have him get some headphones and we'll see what we can do. Tick that lack button. Yes. like and subscribe as always. Blind Mag Gaming just said she subscribed to you, David. Awesome. Now, I will say this. I know everyone in this chat, you don't just sub for sub. You actually go and you check out the content as always. But I just want to remind anyone who might be watching this or listening at sometime in the future, if you ever subscribe to someone, don't just subscribe and go. Actually check out their videos, drop in on their content every week, because one, if you just hit subscribe and then vamos, it shows no interaction and YouTube views as a little bit suspicious. So you guys don't want to do that. You want to watch, a couple of the videos. I mean, you don't have to watch it all the way from back to end. It would be great if you did. But as long as you watch it, you drop a comment that's not generic, like cool, bro. If you say, hey, I really, I like this part of your video or this or that, you actually point something out and you do that. Like, even if you put something that's negative, it still counts as interaction. YouTube recognizes it, that legitimizes the view and the subscription, and they keep it. So that's one way you can help other people to grow, guys. Excuse me. So, Fig Fever also says ditto, just sub to both of David's both of your channels, David. Awesome. Great. I appreciate you guys for this. That's why I have Tuesday Night Talks, is one, to vent, to talk about anything and everything that's going on in the world, but also to help other YouTubers, to grow. There's a YouTuber by name of The Orville and also Maria Tea Time and Telly. They go by the motto #We Grow Together, and I want to pay that forward. I want to help other channels grow, and that's what this is all about, guys. Fig says, true at Dave's Dimension. That's why I check my notification bell. I always double check it. It says subscribed with the bell. Awesome.
Check 1, 2.
Okay. Yeah, we can still hear a little echo. Do you have the stream playing on like a computer or a tablet?
Nope.
Okay. Hold on one second. I'm going to check something out here.
Fun day.
Okay, I have echo cancellation on. Let's check yours. You check your audio settings here. Okay, we're going to do that. Let's do this. And okay, we have echo cancellation on, but it's still coming through for some reason. Well, we'll just move forward with it.
Yeah, unfortunately.
So several people in the chat actually subscribe to you already, David.
Right.
Okay. So we got Bertabug subscribed to both channels. Blind Mag. Everyone is Fig Fever, Figure Fever, I should say. Everyone is subscribing. That's great. I want to help you grow as much as possible, but also making sure that these are subscriptions that stick. It's not like, hey, I hit the button, I don't have to do anything in the future. No, I told them I want them to check your content every week to see what you have going on. Okay.
The Ride Along series is every Sunday. And like I said, I've got AI music all the way till like February, March.
Now you said ride along.
Yeah.
So are you doing like bike rides?
No, drives.
Okay, drives. Okay.
2024 Chevy Trax. Yep.
Okay.
Sometimes it's just Niagara Falls and back, Lockport and back, but
okay.
It's just showing off Western New York as a whole.
Yeah, I mean, I've told a few people in this chat that there are some awesome sites around Western New York and beyond. I mean, especially like Niagara Falls. I mean, I live on Grand Island. I love that. I literally can do a 20-minute bike ride, and I'm right there at the falls.
I've actually walked Niagara Falls. Just a 2-hour random walk. That's a live stream I did last year.
Okay.
And then the other live stream I did was the Buffalo Sabres game where they won 4-0 against the Islanders.
Nice.
Yeah. Oh, ironically, the funny thing ended up being they started winning after the live stream. It's like, oh, perfect. That made no sense.
See, you made it happen, my friend. So, I want to ask you, when did you start?
So I started actually in January of last year.
Okay.
Hmm.
What made you start?
I needed something to do. I love the creativity. I love the creative outlets. That's why I did both channels, because I'm like, I took a page from vidIQ. And they're like, if you do channels and you do personal and, for my example, gaming, um, people will get confused and may not understand what you're about. And it's like, okay, I will separate them. And they've often suggested separating them, so I did, and that's how that came to be. I do a lot of classic gaming too. I got a lot of Tetris on my gaming channel, so if anybody's interested in the old-fashioned Tetris that I do on my mobile phone, I do a lot of gaming on there too.
Yeah, the dreaded algorithm is always something that we have to contend with.
Yeah, they're right.
I mean, my channel is a mixture of so many different things. That's why the algorithm doesn't know what to do with me.
Yeah. Mm.
And really, if I started a separate channel for every little thing I'm interested in,
Mm.
yeah,
That's not
no,
true.
I'm sorry, I already have a full-time job.
I actually don't. I'm a person with disabilities, so, but it may not come off as it. There's a lot of psychological, and that's the one thing I like about you is, it's like, yeah, we all have problems. We'll work on them together, because I
Oh,
have
yeah.
COPD, scoliosis, and a lot of anxiety.
Yeah.
COVID.
I mean, Dre and I, Dre the Collector Safe Space and I, we actually do, once in a while, we actually do a mental health stream.
Yes,
So trust me,
that.
that is something that is very strong. We are getting a request for you to talk. Can you talk a little closer to your phone?
How about
A
now?
few people are saying that, can you speak more into your mic? It's hard to hear you.
Okay. How about now?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay.
Okay. And again, guys, I apologize for the echo. It can't be helped at this time. But don't worry, we're gonna move forward with everything. We got Nerd affiliated in chat. Hey, Archer.
I know Nerd from Legacy of Nerd too. He's or they I believe were part of
They
Legacy.
have done. They've collaborated a few times. He's had Legacy of Nerd on his channel a few times. Yep.
Gotcha.
They are unaffiliated, but they're two content creators who've crossed paths a few times.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see what's here. I'm still here, but lurking. Great stream, buddy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's see who else we have here. We have Bill in the chat. What's up, gang? I got someone at my door, my friends. I'll be right back. No problem, Lack. Well, it's true, right? Right, Archer? Unaffiliated? He laughed at my content, or my question, I should say. So, you've only been doing this for about a year.
Yep.
Where do you see yourself in the future? Like, what do you see as far as the future of David's life and Gamr for life? How, like, what would be your ideal as far as how far you would like to take it?
Monetization for both channels, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
If that's not the thing, that's fine. I just love creating. I love having a creative outlet, and I think that's really what keeps anxiety down, is being able to share my life, no matter how personal or not, or how small or large, and ends up being both lives. It means a lot to share, and if you're going through something and it helps someone else, that's huge. And I know right now I'm going through some stuff, both mentally and physically, that it's like, what? 2024 is not my greatest year, and I'm hoping 2025 is a lot better, but
trust me, I get that. As someone who found himself unemployed last December,
yep.
right before the holidays, trust me, I can sympathize. But it's great that you're about the creation, and the creation is what's driving you. Because there's a lot of people who get on who they say, hey, I'm going to start a YouTube channel. Hey, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And they have these, these I hate to say the word delusion, but a delusion that, hey, I'm going to make it big in 6 months. It's not going to happen. Respectfully, it's just not going to happen.
Right.
You have to start little by little. I mean, me when I started during the pandemic.
Mm-hmm. A lot of people did, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because I've been doing this for about 4 years. So I started around 2020, kind of till around the pandemic time.
Yep.
But I also was a part of I joined a local charity group, and I got into Ghostbusters big time. I've always been a Ghostbuster fan.
The originals, right? Not the remake.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Me personally, I wasn't an overly big fan of Answer the Call, but I do enjoy the original movies. I do also enjoy the new movies, Afterlife and Frozen Empire. I know some people have reservations about it, but nothing's ever perfect. Let's be honest. But what I did was I started building my equipment. I bought the Spear Halloween Proton Packs, which are 80% scale. And I was doing videos on getting parts and slowly upgrading them because I figured, hey, if I can do it, anybody can. I don't have a garage. I live in a two bedroom apartment. The second bedroom is this weird, messy, cluttered action figure collection area. My desk is right here, and I have a tool chest right here. I don't have a garage. I don't have a shed or anything I can work on. I work on this stuff in this shared space. So if I can build stuff, if I can mod stuff, then anybody can. And then I started, I saw the the unboxes people are doing, like with Loot Crate and Nerd Block and all those other subscription service boxes, and I started getting in on those. And thanks to the group of people I joined, I started getting more and more into collecting because as a kid I didn't really have much. So I started buying like the new version of the figures, of the figures I never got to have as a kid.
Right.
So it's kind of like going through, some people go through midlife crisis. I went through a second childhood.
Sorry.
No, go right ahead, David.
Well, you were talking about midlife crisis. I think I'm doing a quarter life crisis because truthfully, I'm a shopaholic. I love good deal. Anything 50% off and up is my thing. And sometimes I get too crazy, and I am right now not doing too well because I overspent this much, and it's like, what the But
it happens. You get excited.
It does.
You get excited. You get like very enthused, and then sometimes things can get away from you.
Yes.
And that's perfectly fine because guess what? You're not alone.
And it's about being honest about this too.
Yeah.
That's why I'm telling you. And
it's always acceptance.
Mm-hmm.
Like here, my brother from another mother, Dre, collector safe space, popping in the chat. He's the one that he and I co-host the mental health streams that we do that I mentioned before. So it's because literally his channel, the collector safe space. It's about no egos, just a good good solid place that you can just talk with people. If you're we do like we actually do like we check in with each other every couple of days to see how we're doing. Because not everyone's maybe in a good headspace, or maybe their health isn't great. So it's kind of nice to have people kind of check in on you.
I do counseling every other week, so I'm right there with you, all of you.
Well, see, that's good because the big thing, because I met Dre almost 2 years ago or something. Met him through a different mental health stream, and the big theme is it's okay to not be okay. If you can accept you're not okay, that's a major step. A lot of people can't accept that. A lot of people can't say, yeah, I do need help, or I should talk to someone. So the fact that you're actually out there doing it, that's tremendous right there.
Yeah, thank you. And it's, what was I going to say? You were talking about acceptance, and I think part of the acceptance on a personal level is accepting, hey, I have a problem. This is me. It may not be fixed, but how can I live?
No.
with it.
Yeah, and it's trust me, there's things everyone's different. Everyone has their own
Absolutely.
perspective on things.
Hmm.
You know, I could go through a death in the family, and Drake could go through a death in the family, but we probably would both work through it or go through it in different ways. Everyone's different. Everyone processes things differently. A lot of times, some people keep things bottled up. Some people take their anger out. Some people find a constructive way. I know with me, ever since I was a little kid, um, long story short, I know this is this stream is supposed to be for you, but I'm just using myself as an example. I didn't have a father figure till I was about maybe 10 or 11. Okay. So I was picked on, I was bullied on, I had a lot of problems. I had hand and eye coordination issues, I had speech issues, I used to stutter all the time. I had more problems in a small country. Okay. But part of the things that would help me focus and kind of like take my mind away from all that chaos, Legos. And I still do Legos to this very day sometimes. One, it helps the creative process because you're building something. Two, it also helps hand and eye coordination, believe it or not. So it's therapeutic in many ways. Everyone has their own ways of doing things. You started 2 channels. You started a gaming channel. So I'm sure you go, when you're gaming, when you're pretending to be the Sabres or the Bills or whatever. Oh, looks like we lost David. I'm hoping he's going to click the link and come right back to us. He's possibly having more internet issues. There he is. He's back. And we have video. There he is.
Yeah.
He's back. And I'm not hearing echo.
I figured it out. It took me about 40-some minutes. But...
There we go.
Okay.
There we go. But
what did I miss?
Well, what I was saying was, I'm sure your way of kind of focusing or kind of like relaxing or kind of like taking yourself out of the chaos is when you're gaming, I'm sure. Or like, your other content creating, like you said, you go on these ride-alongs,
Right.
There's a lot of YouTubers that are not, I shouldn't say a lot, but there's a few YouTubers who do that. They'll take people on ride-alongs. There's this tech guru out of New York City who is all about the right for repair. By the name of Louis Rossman. Okay.
Yeah, I remember all that.
He like if he goes on a drive to work, to a shop, or from the shop to home, or Saturday night, he's just driving around Manhattan. He's got his phone out and he just has a recording, and he's talking, he's doing his like what we're doing right now, but while he's driving. There's people who do that content, but not a lot of people do that. Very rarely do you see that. So, I mean, that's something pretty cool. Especially, I mean, how many people get to see, oh, I'm driving past Niagara Falls. A lot of people in this chat will never get to see Niagara Falls. I mean, we have people in Texas, Florida, people just all over, people down south. Right. So I mean, we have people all over, and it's this one of the 8 wonders of the world is in our friggin' backyard, which is kind of mind blowing.
It's fun.
Or the fact that, like, hey, I mean, downtown Buffalo is not always the greatest looking part of Buffalo, or let's be honest. But literally 20 minutes away, you have majestic Niagara Falls. You have, you have some very nice and very awesome sites. And
we got
going
Lockport,
right over
Amherst, New York. I mean, Lockport alone is another historic.
The Lockport Locks.
Historic town?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rolando Flores. This is Rolando is the multiversal moderator. Okay. Within the toy collector community, he is in everyone's stream all at once.
Fun.
Okay. You want to talk about the multiverse? It's Rolando. Like literally, he has links for everyone's channels. He's usually in 20 or 30 different channels at once. If you ever saw The Matrix, I think it was the second or third Matrix with the guy with all the TV screens. That's Rolando.
Nice.
I'm convinced he's actually plugged into multiple computers. Let's see.
I have no doubt. Yeah.
He's dropping your link right there in the chat. See, he is just that damn good.
Much appreciated. Love you.
And also, we have Blue Sasquatch. He loves sharks.
Nice.
He loves everything. Blue
Great.
Sasquatch is a awesome character. We do Fortnite and a whole bunch of other stuff with him. He's an awesome gamer. He's got his own channel. Very chill,
Mhm.
very relaxed. He loves sharks, and he's always asking, "Is this live?"
Mhm.
So yeah,
Also, don't mind me. I love to fidget, and I love to like. I always got to move something like
no,
a
no,
finger or something.
no, you're perfectly fine. I mean,
Okay.
I'm that's why they made fidget spinners, And
Yeah.
yes, he and we have Left Coast. He's actually
Okay.
he's basically Canadian. He's up north. He
Right.
he does are you into Star Wars at all?
Yes.
He does these amazing enamel pins done in the retro style of Star Wars from back in the 80s. He also
Okay.
has his own design shop. Uh, Left Coast Graphics. I mean, well, it's in the name.
Right.
Rick is awesome. He's also hashtag Let Them Breathe. He's a toy collector after my own heart who is all about unboxing our action figures and letting them breathe.
Okay.
Whereas there's a big contingency that is all about keep them in the original box, original case.
Yeah.
Those of us, hey, hashtag Let Them Breathe. So
Mhm.
let me ask you,
Sure.
other than the vlogging, taking us on our ride-alongs and the video games, do you have any other interests?
Yes. I love to walk. I love to walk my neighborhood. Obviously Niagara Falls. I did actually walk the canal side last
Okay.
summer. I'm going to do that again, either springtime or summer. I haven't
Now,
decided. Walk
how
Niagara
how
Falls
how do you
again.
like what they've been doing with the canal side, with the outer harbor and everything?
Mm,
Because those that don't know, about
yeah.
10 or maybe 10 or 14 years ago, this was
Yeah.
undeveloped land. It was just kind of like, rusting
Karen,
away.
parking
Just,
lot.
I mean, especially Furman Boulevard used to be just these
Yeah.
like concrete shoehorns that you could just like sit on the edge of it and try to fish, even though the game wardens would come by and try and bust you because you didn't have a license for fishing. But yeah, they've really developed it. I mean, Buffalo
Hmm.
wasn't really known for having developed or attractive waterfronts for the longest time,
Right.
let's be honest.
Right. Yeah.
So since you're a fellow Western New Yorker, how do you feel about
Right.
it? Do you like what they're doing with it?
I like the scenery.
Hmm.
If there was a little bit more parking, I'm sure you'd know. If there was a little bit more parking, I think it would be better. Um, exactly. You know. Let's see. What do
Yeah,
I
I've
like
been
about it?
I've been to Riverworks plenty of times. I love how
Yeah.
they reutilize the grain silos. I've done
Yes,
a
I
few
love that too.
videos checking out the chalk
Hmm.
contest that they have there every year.
Okay.
I have a family friend who enters it every year.
Right.
It's great to see the kind of creativity that kids all the way to senior citizens have when it comes to doing those arts. But it's great
Right.
seeing old structures being reutilized and not
Yes.
just torn down and replaced.
Absolutely.
You know.
I agree. Hmm. There's actually a Walmart on the NFB, obviously Niagara Falls Boulevard. But
Hmm.
there's a Walmart that is now a Asian Pacific Islander store. So
Hmm.
there's that little bit. But yes, I absolutely love revitalization and reuse. The one thing I like the most right now, I think, would be that 100-year-old boat they're building downtown for the 100th anniversary of the lock. They're going to be taking it from Buffalo to through the locks, I believe, all the way to New York City, but I could be wrong.
That's gonna be interesting to
Yeah.
get it through the locks. Because anyone
Mhm.
that doesn't know, the locks were part of the old Erie Canal, so that's kind of the reason why David's mentioning that. Oh, they're taking this 100-year-old boat through the locks because that's the old Erie Canal from way back when.
Mhm.
That's gonna be interesting to see what happens. A lot of people don't know we have a naval park
That's
downtown
true. Yep.
Buffalo.
That's
Um,
very nice to check out.
have you
One of
ever
my
gone
other
through it?
favorite possibly. Yes, I did. About 8 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've never gone through it. I've gone there to see it, and
Oh,
I
great. Yeah.
remember, um, uh, the really scary travesty about a year and a half ago with the
Hmm.
Sullivans. About a good
Yeah.
year or so ago. Uh,
Yeah.
those that don't know, our naval park downtown Buffalo has we have a submarine, we have a couple ships
Yep.
there, and one
Yep.
of them was known as the Sullivans. Now, it was named that because there were four brothers who were all serving on the ship at the same time. Anyone who's ever seen Private Ryan, that's kind of what Private Ryan was based on. If you have four brothers that all go down, the male members of the family are gone. They can't carry the name on forward. So yeah, it's that's one of the reasons why if you have multiple brothers serving in the same branch of military, they cannot serve at the same base or on the same ship. You can't serve in the same spot because if there's a travesty, all of them could be wiped out. So,
Right.
but what happened was these are old ships. There's a lot of corrosion. This is Western New York.
Hmm.
We get snow, we get hail, we get rain, we get and honestly, Lake Erie is not the beautiful blue, pristine
Yep.
or
Neither is Lake
pristine
Ontario.
blue Lake Erie blue that you see like in the movie Bruce Almighty. It's not. If
Good
you
movie, by
walk
the
up to
way.
the water, it's got a nice little shade of green going on, guys. Okay, trust me.
It
So
does. I can
yeah,
confirm that.
and what happened was there was so much corrosion that water was seeping in, and it was actually capsizing the ship, and the ship was starting to sink. So there was this big initiative. There was like they what was it, not the National Guard, but like the uh Army
Engineers.
Corps of Engineers. I mean, they
Yeah.
brought so many people in. They're able to basically rescue the ship, to pump the water out. But this was happening during the winter, guys. So imagine that. They're fighting snow and ice and freezing waters, freezing temperatures. It was just insane. But yeah, Western New York has a lot of crazy history, a lot of
It does.
awesome sites.
Hmm.
The naval park also has several monuments for all of our wars.
Right.
Obviously Desert Storm, previously Desert Shield, obviously the Afghanistan War. I mean, just Vietnam, and they also have special monuments uh, signifying. Buffalo had a very strong predominant portion, which was Polish.
Yes.
So there's monuments signifying many of Polish heritage who died in the various foreign wars, and also we have several monuments signifying African Americans who've lost their lives. So we have representation across the board there, which is just tremendous. And we have jets, helicopters. You can see there.
Hmm.
It's a very awesome museum, and there's restaurants down there at the
Yep.
naval park now. I mean, it's a nice, fun, crazy spot to go there in the summertime. Um,
And
are
interestingly
there any?
enough, okay,
Yes.
okay.
No, go ahead.
Interestingly enough, I was at the Tim Hortons in the Harbor Center when it was first opened, and I have that
Oh, okay.
video. That was their grand opening day. And they also have a couple plaques to Native American veterans who served with us in the
Yes.
Civil War, World War One, and World War Two. That's actually in the building where they're building that 100-year anniversary boat. So
Okay.
it's a couple yards away from the shipyard.
Okay. Now, those who don't know what Tim Hortons is, our friends north
Right.
of the border know Timmy Hose. Tim Hortons is a coffee chain which was based off of a Canadian hockey player by the name of Tim Horton, and it kind of branched over to Buffalo because obviously we're on the border with Canada. I mean, literally, I have an enhanced ID. I can flash this and I can go across the border anytime. You don't need a passport or anything like that. We show it, they scan it, you're on your way.
Hmm.
So for us, we can go over to Canada anytime. We can go to Toronto, catch a Raptors or a Maple Leafs game. Well, not really Maple
Quickly.
Leafs if I have a choice in the matter.
Yeah, yeah, that's
But that's also our closest NBA game is
right.
watching the Toronto Raptors. Not that that's really much of a choice, but it is
Mhm.
what it is. Um, course, they have the CFL, Canadian Football League,
Mm.
which is like arena football here in the States, where it's only half the field. There's always some amazing shows going on in Toronto. I remember seeing Phantom of the Opera at Pantages Theater years ago.
That sounds great.
Rock and Roll, was it the Rock and Roll Cafe restaurant there? I mean, there's always stuff to do. There's a CN Tower, but if you go Niagara Falls side, like the Niagara Falls border over to Canada, there's
Mhm.
Clifton Hill, which is kind of like, it's like an adult theme park. Blue, I don't mean adult in that way. Calm down.
Darn it.
It's, I mean, we have like we have a Madame Tussauds up there. There's tons of different entertainment places, like adult laser tags and just all kinds of amazing stuff that, anyone who's like in their late teens to early 20s, it's like a field day there, guys. It's just awesome. It's a place where you can go ahead and get your drinks, you can have a good old time. And yes, Canadian age of drinking, by the way, is 19 still, whereas 21 over in the US. Kind of funny.
I for some reason thought
Oh,
it was 18. I don't
yeah,
know why.
some people thought it was, I think it was 18 at one point, like years
Okay.
and years ago.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember like a lot of people, like, when you're 19, most people are like, hey, I'm not waiting until I'm 21. I can wait till I'm 19. I can go over the border, go to Clifton
Right.
Hill. So many people do that, guys. It's a thing.
However, I have to do a PSA on that because if you come from Canada and you are drinking, you can be arrested for DWI.
Yes, you can.
Well, I'm sorry. I think I did that backwards. You can be, regardless of whichever country you're in, but I think, shoot, now I'm forgetting. I'm sorry.
Well,
Continue.
let's be honest. Canadian police is very polite and nice.
They are.
That's not just a stereotype.
Nope,
They are
they
so
are.
much nicer.
Mm-hmm.
Rolando's
Yep.
like, my drinking age was 13. Now you told us that you
Sure.
pretty much, you explained that you like creative games, so you like Sims,
Yes.
but
Yes.
you also mentioned sports games. So those are probably
Yes.
you're probably more of a sports video gamer, would you say, right?
50-50 is actually, my brain's all over the place, so it would depend on what I'm feeling that day.
Okay.
Right now it is sports. It will probably go back to creativity once I get an idea in my
Okay.
head. For Sim Sport, I'm working on an idea actually. It's called the Pit Stop. It's a restaurant I'm wanting to work on in Sim Sport, but I haven't fully worked out the idea. Let's see. I know a bunch of fun facts about Tim Hortons, but that's neither nor there.
Well, let me ask you this: in the last, let's say, last 10 years,
Mm.
what would you say is your favorite sports game you've played in the last 10 years?
Oh, definitely NHL, because I'm actually a quarter Canadian myself.
Which one though? I mean, do you have like a
Oh, right.
particular year? Like you
Well,
like 20?
I
You like 20, but better than 21? Just an example. I mean, some
okay.
people might
So
say, "Hey, I like the old Blades of Steel from way back when on Nintendo."
yes, I remember those days. Let's see. The one I really craved was NHL 2009, because
Okay.
that's when Be a Pro started.
Mm,
And they actually had interview questions way back then. And then, of course, stupidity happens in gaming industry. And it's like, oh, we're going to take this feature out. And it's like, mm-mm, mm-mm. And
yeah.
I'm glad to see the
Some
interview
doors you
portion.
just can't close, right?
It's,
You're like,
yeah. See, my analogy is always go off of what you created, never take away, always improve.
Mhm.
No, and that drives me nuts. And that's kind of why I've been buying sports games every 4 years or 5 years. I just don't want to waste my money.
No, I get that completely. Now, do you play just on PC, or are you using a gaming system? What is your system of choice when it comes to gaming?
Primarily PS5. My stream stuff is
Okay.
obviously on a PC. I built it using friends' parts and parts I bought during Amazon Prime Day.
Okay. Hey, nothing wrong with the Prime.
No.
I mean, my computer, I built this past 6 months, 6, 7 months. That thing, I bought some parts on Amazon,
Yep.
some parts on Newegg. I kind of just shopped
Yeah.
around, you just
Right.
try and find the best deals you possibly can.
Absolutely.
because I mean, let's be honest. I mean, buying a pre-built computer, I've done videos on that. It's not
Mhm.
always the greatest thing. I've had
Mhm.
my own experience. I bought a pre-built gaming computer from Amazon a couple years ago. It was
Yeah.
the worst because
Mm.
it was a pre-built pre-built gaming PC by a well-known company. However,
Yes.
I didn't know that technically the specs were about 5 to 6 years old.
Oh my. Oh.
Yeah, but it was a
I mean,
brand new. It was still brand new. It was still brand new.
so,
Like it was like the worst
huh.
experience ever. I wound up
Yeah.
selling it for a little bit less than what I paid for. And then
Yeah.
I was using an older computer that my younger brother had built like 10 years prior.
Mhm.
So I don't know if you're much of a PC person yourself, but it was basically using like an RTX 960, the
Okay.
computer that I
Yeah.
wound up using
Yeah.
for my brother because he just
Right.
had it sitting around in his basement collecting dust.
Mhm.
And that was running faster than the computer I had bought previously.
Yeah.
Kind of
I mean,
crazy.
the nine.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's the CPU and the you showed me GPU. What's the CPU that you
Oh
had in there?
well, the CPU was like the CPU he had. I forgot what it was. It was like the equivalent. Again, it was like a 9 8 year old processor.
Okay.
And suffice it to say, the pre-built computer I bought was a Radeon computer, so it was
Yeah.
Team Red. And I was
Right.
like, it was AMD Radeon process GPU.
Yeah.
It just wasn't holding up. Like I
Right.
couldn't stream on it or anything. The 10
Mm.
year old computer my brother passed on to me, which was an
Yeah.
RTX 970 or
Yeah.
960 rather, that could run circles around that pre-built computer, which was hilarious. The one I
Right.
have now, I have an RTX 4060. So I'm loving that
Heck,
thing. You know,
as a guy who has 2 computer degrees, I was like, yeah.
so there you go.
Oh yeah, that's beautiful. That's a beautiful system right there.
See, that's the thing. It's like when you're building a computer now,
Mhm.
it can't just function. It also has to
No,
look cool. You know,
and
you
glass.
gotta
The
kind of
main
have
point is glass.
a little bit of flavor to it.
Yes, yes.
This thing was like I was like when I started buying like I bought the tower. It was
Hmm.
was it N7? It's an N7 tower. So technically the tower is actually on an angle. Like it's not
Right. I've
like
seen
the
this.
feet, it's a little bit on a
Hmm.
slant.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
I still have room to put a couple more hard drives in there if I really wanted to.
Hmm.
But the thing, like, I also wanted to try and go with a white build. I have a white desk. I wanted to go with a
Okay.
white build because
Yeah.
it's my first white computer. But like,
Hmm.
I mean, of course, like I have 64 gigs of RAM. Uh,
Of course. Of
I
course.
kind of like but I went through a few different sources, and a lot
Yeah.
of it is all the same brand. It's a Fantex N7. I have a
Hmm.
Fantex AIO. So I have the
Yeah.
cooler on there. I went with a lot of stuff, but I mean, like, it's, it's like I'm like, yeah, I built that. I feel pretty damn good about it. But I can
Yeah. It
stream.
looks like a
I can
fun
stream. I can
computer
do
to.
so much on there. My PS5 is actually connected into it. I have a like a
Mm.
little USB
Yeah.
HDMI dongle, which is a
Okay.
very cheap $16 capture card from Amazon.
Yeah.
It does the job. Is it perfect? Would an Elgato one work fantastic? I'm sure it would, but I don't have Elgato money
If
to do
cheap
so.
works, why not use cheap?
And hey, if it burns up, because I did have one heat up where it fried itself. Hey, it's
Okay.
$16. I'm not going to worry about it. That
Right.
one lasted me a year. So hey, $16,
There you go.
I'll take it instead of dropping 300 for it. Yeah, but I actually
Yeah.
have it where if I play anything on my computer or on my
Uh-huh.
PS5,
Right.
I just open up OBS
Yeah.
and I pull up the video input from my PS5 and it's right on my screen.
Yeah. I use OBS myself,
But like,
streaming the.
well, not even if I'm not streaming, if I'm just playing,
Yeah.
I'll
Yeah.
drag OBS onto my second monitor and
Uh-huh.
then I'll click the projector option so it projects
Yep.
on my main screen and I'll just
There you
play.
go.
You know?
Cool. Yeah. I'm a computer nerd, so I use speak my language. I also have
Okay.
2 computer degrees myself. So
Well, see,
both
that's
in
the
that
thing. Like
computer
when
networking.
I did a few videos when I
Yeah.
was building the computer, but
Hmm.
I was trying not to text explain to people because I think that's a big problem. That's a big disconnect with people.
Yeah.
Is hey, Oh, I want to see how to build a computer, and they're talking about, most people aren't going to understand frame rates.
Right.
They might not know what a GPU versus a CPU is,
Mhm.
things of that nature. So I tried to do it like, okay, because when I worked for Spectrum, I worked for Spectrum for 9 years.
Right.
When you are during the pandemic, when you're walking Grandpa Joe and Aunt Esther through trying to set up
Yeah.
their internet at home,
Mhm.
they don't know what a modem is. They don't know what a
Right.
router is. They don't know what these wires are for.
Mhm.
You have to try and find a way to explain it to them, right?
Right.
And
Absolutely.
I always try to break things down to the simplest form. I would say, okay, you got a
Mhm.
couple boxes, and you got a couple boxes there. You got one that looks like a black book standing upright, right?
Right.
Yeah, I see that right now. Okay, that's your modem. Okay, you got a little threaded nub that sticks out the back. Okay, that's where your cable is going to screw onto. They can
Right.
understand that, right? I'm like,
Good.
okay, don't worry about anything else. We're going to take this step by step. Okay, they have that
Right.
plugged in. Okay, good. Now you're going to plug in your power. Okay, you're going to see like a you're going to see yellow wire that looks like a phone wire, but it's a little bit wider. Yeah, I have that.
Mhm.
Okay, plug that in. Good.
Right.
Okay, your modem is up and running right now. Okay, but I would also tell people, think of the modem as a water faucet.
Right.
We got to get the faucet running first before we can get the sprinkler running, right? And then I
And
would say,
it
okay, you got another box, okay? You see that
Yep.
little round kind of, it looked like a like series Big Brother, or like sorry, what's the Amazon one? I keep blanking on that. Alexa. It looks like an
Right.
oversized Alexa, or like a big like air purifier. Okay, you see that box? Okay, good. We're just gonna take that yellow wire, plug it into the back where you're gonna see a little matching little yellow square, plug it right into it. You get your power cord, plug your power cord into it. Guess what? You just connected your internet. And I would just take them through it step by step. I'm
Mhm.
not saying, oh, grab the coaxial cable, and I want you to grab
Yeah,
the
you can't use our
AC
terminology.
adapter.
Absolutely.
They're,
Mhm.
they're not going to friggin' understand that.
No.
So, like,
No.
when I was building my computer, I was like, okay, we're going to, going to take a look at the motherboard. I was nervous about it because, like, one, the motherboard's not cheap. The processor, if
Right.
I mess up the pins on a processor, yeah, I'm not going to be able to fix that. It'll take someone a lot better. And the thing is,
Yeah.
we don't have a friggin' micro center here. I'm jealous. I have family in Ohio, and a lot of these
Yeah.
guys watching right now, they have micro centers across the country or in Canada. They have those options. We don't have those here. We don't. I
Someone needs to
mean,
come here and do that, or bring all that here.
I wish we had a micro center here. I mean, that would be the greatest thing. But put it
Right.
in Galleria Mall, or I mean, that's probably the.
Absolutely. Or the
I mean, they
summit.
still.
The summit's dead. I mean, the
You
mall
mean
is like
the Slummet
sorry.
Mall?
Summit Mall. Yes.
No, Slummet. I call it the Slummet Mall because it's dead,
Oh,
like slums. Yeah,
that's awesome.
yeah. See,
Yes.
it's
Western Europe comedy. Gotta love it.
it's like people used to call the Galleria Mall the Gonorrhea Mall. So, but yeah, it's it's one of those things. Like, honestly, I got help through other YouTube communities.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
several YouTubers I follow. One of them is known as Breathorn. Okay.
Okay.
This guy's a great content creator. He's not selling you anything. He has these
Mhm.
live streams where occasionally he games, but a lot of times he's helping people pick out the right pre-built gaming or pre-built PC for themselves based on their budget and needs. Like, he does a Twitch stream that's simulcasted also on YouTube, and
Mhm.
he'll say, okay, please enter your information in, what your budget is, what you're looking to do for, and
Mhm.
are you looking for a particular brand? Because there's so many different companies that do pre-built gaming PCs now. Uh,
Right.
there's these kind of like boutique ones that they build. We're not talking like
Mhm.
he does review iBuyPower and Power PC and a few others.
Mhm.
But he also, there's some higher echelon ones. If you got extra bank to spend, you can
Right.
get something that looks real nice, real fancy, but you can get it in a very nice looking case. Something that's not necessarily big, something that might be small. So if you're a college student, you want something that's not going to take up a lot of space. He kind of takes all those things into
So
account.
a mini
In
case
his,
or a micro case.
yeah, like a micro ATX or
Yeah.
mini ATX, and he
Right.
will go. He will say, okay, this, and this, and actually one of his mods, one of his top admins, actually gave me a breakdown. Now I slightly altered it with a few
Mhm.
options, but
Mhm.
this build is based on one of their recommendations for me.
Okay.
I because
That's
what
good.
happened was he gave me the recommendation, but it was like 2 or 3 months uh,
Yeah.
before I was able to actually pull the trigger and buy the parts that I did.
Right.
Once I did, like I made a few budget options because there's a few things that weren't available.
Yeah.
Like I actually went with uh, blue cabling inside here.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So I mean, there's little things you can do, but it was it wound up being a fun experience because I hadn't built a computer in over 10 years.
Right. And
Things
so much has
changed a lot.
changed even within a couple years. It's
Oh
like,
yes.
am I even doing this? I know personally when I was putting my system together, um, I had Geek Squad or have Geek Squad, and I gave them all the parts and be like, "Hey, can you do this?" She was like, "Yes."
See,
It was like, "Great," because
see,
I would love to do
everyone's got their
something, but my
philosophies and their opinions.
yes,
I'm not necessarily a fan of Geek Squad because
okay,
ultimately Geek Squad. Well, here's my take on it. Ultimately, Geek Squad, they will, they'll do just what you ask them to do and nothing more. Like they'll throw parts together, but maybe the right software isn't put in right.
yeah,
Or you know these guys are paid hourly and not really paid enough,
right.
so you get
Nobody
what you
is.
paid for. So it's
Mhm.
like even with a pre-built PC, whether it's a gaming PC or not, you can buy a
Right,
pre-built PC, even as an office PC, and something might get jostled through shipping. Something might be knocked loose inside, but you won't know. Like, wait a minute,
right.
it's not turning on. I'm pressing power cord's plugged in. What's going on? And it
Mhm.
could be a loose memory stick, and that's
Yeah,
where you know obviously they're not going to say, hey, mom and pop, I want you to unscrew the top.
right.
And a lot of people are not comfortable with that, so what
Mhm.
do? They reach out to Geek Squad or their local tech person, and sometimes
Mhm.
some of those mom and pop computer spots are reputable, some not so much. But
Right.
at least with, like, if you are someone who's comfortable with building, you know that everything's working because you did everything yourself. And if it doesn't, well,
Yeah.
it's on you to figure out what part that was. So
Now for me,
you got you got gaming, or not just gaming but PC building background too. Have
yes,
you ever
yeah.
thought of doing contents, like occasional content on gaming or on PC maintenance or building?
Yes, but I unfortunately don't have enough confidence in myself, and I think that's where tremendous amount of counseling and
Okay,
psychology I
I
need
I
to yeah,
I understand the confidence.
yeah.
Trust me, I do. Um,
But I
if
can
you
then
look
explain it to somebody to the end of the day.
if you look at my earliest video, it looks janky.
Mhm.
It is the definition of janky. Like, I'm holding a camera, everything's like moving
Yeah.
around. You can hardly, everything's dark, there's poor sound. You can't
Mhm.
hear a single thing. People are asking me questions like, "Oh, is this because there was a monitor?" One of the first videos I did was a computer monitor, which I still have
Mhm.
actually. Um,
Cool.
and they were asking me like, "Hey, is this good for gaming?" Well, I bought it like 5 years ago, and I just
Mhm.
used it for the PC I had at the time. I can't really say if it's good for gaming. Or, hey,
Right.
will it fit this arm mount? I can't tell you that because I
Right.
don't know if that arm mount will work on it. It's like sometimes you get the idiotic questions, but there are people who will ask you
Mhm.
all these questions like, wait a minute, I did this video 4 years ago. I can't really say, you know,
Mhm.
but like as far as the confidence, if you look at the videos I did back then, like, I am okay. I am opening this. Like, it's very
Yeah.
not mechanical, but if you compare that to what I do, especially on live streams, there's
Mhm.
more personality. And
Mhm.
the approach that I personally take, and I know a few other people do, is they talk like when you're talking to the camera, like you're talking to a good friend,
Right.
you know. And but I also get that that's not easy for everyone. I mean,
Right.
even back in my high school days, I worked at a roller skating rink as a DJ. So I kind of had to be out, put myself out there on the microphone, and kind of project
roller
myself.
skating rink? But we'll get back to that.
What?
Sorry, which one?
The old skate lane that was at the Thruway Mall where there's a Home Depot right now.
Yes. Okay.
Okay.
Yep. Mhm.
I was there from 1994 to 1998.
Okay.
So, in high school, I got paid to roller skate and play music. And
Nice.
if a girl fell down, it was my job to help her up.
Oh,
So
that's great.
it was a hell of a job. Hell of a job. But no, it was that place. Oh, I was sad when that place closed down. It wasn't due to money. It was due to Benderson Development because they were redeveloping that whole mall, and it's just
Mhm.
an eyesore of a few buildings. And basically they purposely had construction trucks coming through our driveway, between our driveway and the parking lot for the building, because they were tearing down the mall at the time. They purposely did that. That
Yeah.
tore up the road, made people not want to drive down.
Right.
Hey, it is what it is. But yeah, I mean,
Benderson
for
actually.
everyone, my thing is, I always tell people, find your way.
Right.
Okay. If you like to talk directly at the camera, sometimes it's hard for
Mhm.
me to look directly at the camera because my screen is right here. So,
Yeah.
everyone's
Right.
got their own methods. I am constantly rotating my stuff in this room, trying to
Mhm.
find trying to find that sweet spot, so to speak. Um, Everyone's always changing.
Mhm.
I'm a big Doctor Who fan, and
Okay.
the
Cool.
Matt Smith, the 11th Doctor, when he was regenerating, before he did, he talked about how, you know, he's always gonna, we're never all the same person throughout life. We're always changing. We're not the same person we were at this point. We're always growing,
Mhm.
we're always evolving, we're always changing, and that's okay.
Absolutely. 100%.
you
Oh yeah.
know so I mean, that is a big thing. I mean, we're always changing. We're always, you're not the same person you were when you were at 5 or 15 or
Nope.
25.
Nope.
You're always changing, and it's good to go with that. But I think
And
as
I want
long
to
as what
piggyback off that, and the thing that I took away from years of counseling is don't be stagnant. If you're stagnant, you're not growth.
yeah, I mean, there's I'll say this. I'll come back with that at some people, as far as stagnant, I think, well, you mentioned before, you try not to let the numbers get to you.
Right.
As content creators, we say, oh, I'm not going to let the numbers get to you. They will get you at some point.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
As someone who looks at the YouTube Studio app
Mm-hmm.
every single day to see where my watch hours are, because at one point I was 100 hours away from
Yeah.
monetization. I am well over 1,000 away now. Long story.
Yeah.
We're
There
not
you
going
go.
to get into it. But you can't help but look at those numbers, or you get those
Mm-hmm.
emails from YouTube saying, hey, this is your week in review. Look at
Yes.
you had this many.
Yes.
You
Mm-hmm.
get that. Could you block that email? Sure. Numbers are always going to be a part of it,
Right.
and not just in YouTube, but in life. We
Right.
look at numbers all the time in high school. Depending on how many friends you have, that's supposed to determine your popularity.
Curious about popularity. I never did.
Credit score. As an
Mm-hmm.
adult, credit score is always a big one. Again, these are
Yeah.
numbers that you can't help but pay attention to.
Right.
Your bank accounts, your finances, and then as you're older, you notice you have maybe less and less friends in some cases, or
Which is
less and
okay.
less family.
Yeah.
Like
Mm-hmm.
my father, when before he had passed, you know, there was nobody left from his platoon from Vietnam. He was the
Mm-hmm.
last one. Or there were cases where you notice you have less and less relatives who are around.
Right.
You don't see, like, as kids, you might see your cousins, your aunts, and your uncles like almost every week or every 2 weeks, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now
Yep.
you only see them maybe if someone gets married or if somebody's passed away,
Yeah.
and you're finding there's less and less people. So numbers are constantly around us, and it's hard to not look at numbers, but unfortunately numbers are everywhere we go. um
Right.
that's why I've shifted my focus. Like, I was trying to grow my channel as much as I could.
Mm-hmm.
I have the subscriber numbers. I don't have the watch hours.
Same.
And
Yep.
I'm at the point where, you know what, I just want to focus and help other people grow.
Mhm.
Okay, like there's some big companies out there, some big channels like Think Media and a few others that I'm not fans of.
Okay.
And they one of their infamous emails that they like to, or post they like to make is, oh, how do you measure your success? Well, you know what? Right now I want to measure my success in, okay, can I help grow other people's channels? Can I help
Right.
get them on a good path where they're going to be consistent, where they're going to be where they want to be and
Mhm.
not burn out? Because one of the biggest things is, oh, I want to grow. I should be putting out more content. Sometimes that's not what's always the best. Sometimes
Right.
slow and steady wins the race. My
Absolutely.
biggest mistake was the past 2 years, I was putting out content like there was no tomorrow. This year, I had some setbacks happen. I had life events happen. I wasn't
Mm.
making as much content. And guess what? That's what that's part of what did me in. There's another issue, but we're not bringing this up on that stream. But that's a big thing. I mean, if you do like 1 or 2 videos a week, if that's fits your schedule and you can consistently do that, then do that. But if you're trying to put 3 or 4 videos out a week and then like the next year you're only putting maybe 1 or 2 out a week, that's going to affect your watch hours, because watch hours, it's not like, oh, I'm in the door now, I'm monetized. No, that's not how it works.
Mm-mm.
If it bases it off of the previous year, if you're consistent in your content and your views, okay, you're going to be golden. And then you have to, I believe, according to a few friends, you have to earn at least $100 of monetization of revenue first before you get paid.
Good to know.
So even
Good
if
to
you hit
know.
that monetization, if you're
Right.
not hitting that revenue, then you're not going to be getting that money.
Right. Okay.
So
That's
I
good
mean,
to know.
there's a lot of different things, but the big takeaway, at least from my view, is,
Mhm.
are you happy with what you're doing? Are you enjoying what you're doing?
Yes.
That's personal success. Um,
Right.
Groups like Think Media and a few others, they're they treat YouTube creation, content creation, as a business.
Right.
Okay, it's great if you can make this your 9 to 5 and you're going to make a whole series of contents. You want to be like a Linus Tech Tips, you want to be some, like was it Gunpla Melly? There's all these content creators where they don't have to work. They can just stream all day long.
Mhm.
Not everyone has that situation. A lot of us work nine
Mhm.
to five or eight
Yeah.
to 4:30 in my case, then come home, and then we're trying to work on our content creation in the few hours we have. Those who have, I don't have any children, but if someone has kids, someone has family events they have going on, that
Mhm.
takes away from it. You only have so many hours in a day. But
Right.
according to some of these other YouTube experts, they'll say, oh, well, this is your failure. No, it's not. There's only so much you can do. Your first job is to provide for your family and yourself, right?
Right. Yep.
And if it starts to becoming something that you can't enjoy, I know a lot of YouTubers who step back, they come back a
Mhm.
couple months later, maybe half a year later, and then they come back again. You know, as long as it's content that you enjoy and you have fun with it, you are successful in my book. Okay. Yep. But yeah, like you said, your ideal goal earlier, you said, was course monetization, because it would be nice to make a few bucks doing stuff that you enjoy,
Right.
right?
Yeah,
I
and I
mean,
think that's the big takeaway that Think Media and vidIQ don't necessarily talk about.
yeah,
They talk about creating and happy being creating on what you were just talking about. But there's that underlining
yeah,
schedule that even if it's internal in our
yeah,
heads, we have to keep because there's so much not chaos, but there's so much life outside of our YouTube that is more important.
yeah,
And I think once they are honest, I think there'd be a lot more honest YouTubers too.
yeah,
Not saying there isn't, but
Well,
what am I trying to say?
the honest ones, definitely, at least from my point of view, seem to get lost in the shuffle because,
And that's
you
unfortunate.
yeah, you get the ones
That's going to be a thing.
who treat it like a business. Like, okay,
Hmm.
Think Media, they talk about spreadsheets and how is your channel on paper? Well, how is
Right.
your channel like me? I don't do scripts. There's a lot of the professional YouTubers use scripts.
Mhm.
That's all them. If
Yeah,
you
I
have
don't use
time
script
to
either.
try and construct a script and you have something that you can prompt on it, more power to you. Me, I always felt, hey, I'm going to open up this box. You're getting my honest impressions about this. If I think it's crap, I think it's. And David will be coming back in a second. So let's catch up on the chat here. Those are some cool finds. Looks like guys were talking about some vintage Beetlejuice toy car. Army Ants and Jar Jar Binks. Awesome. We have Carlos in the chat. For my last grail, now it's onto Food Fighter figures. Awesome. How's everyone enjoying the stream so far?
Huh?
And there he is.
Uh, just,
But I think like those people who treat it like a spreadsheet, they're looking at
yeah.
numbers. I think honesty, I think heart, realism, sincerity is something that is missing with a lot of these so-called successful people. We
Absolutely.
see a lot of people who do a lot of negativity. Like, oh, there's a new Marvel movie. I'm gonna bash it. Whether they really hate it or not, they're making bash content. There's
Yeah.
a lot of negative content because they think hatred sells. Okay. Personally, I kind of have a little bit of a, well, we can kind of call it a beef with one or two, well, a couple of YouTubers. Now,
Hmm.
I could call them out and then they're going to call me out and then it's going to be a back and forth. Yes,
Right.
that will drive viewership, but that's not where I want to get my views from. That's not where I want my channel growth
Hmm.
from, you know?
And
So,
that's
you
not
know,
you. I mean, I know
no.
you from your streams, and I feel
Hmm.
like that this is you. You talking to me like this on a personal level is you, and I think
Yeah.
that's why I like you so much. And you're local. I mean, you know references that
Yeah.
I know
Yeah,
that
it's
also
always.
help.
I mean, yeah, it's always cool finding someone local. That's like I'm like, wait a minute, his name is David, and he's in West New York. What? Why
Yeah.
did I know where this guy was? And that's the
I
thing. Like, that's one of the reasons why I wanted to do this kind of a stream because I want other people who may not be within the toy community come across because we have a lot of people in the toy community who are into so many other things. I mean,
right.
practically, I mean, so many people in this chat like Dre, Blue Sasquatch, Bree, Britterbug.
Hmm.
A lot of us
Yeah.
play Fortnite on another
Okay.
streamer's channel on Friday nights. So I mean,
Oh, I do
we
remember
all do like
catching that
yeah,
once.
we all do
Yeah.
rotating squads. Like we have Mega Demon collects in the chat. There's a guy by the name of Colbane Games. He does different gaming streams throughout the
Right.
week. He's an awesome creator from actually down in the Carolinas. You probably
Mhm.
will like him. Monday was it last night? He was streaming Sea of Thieves with a few friends.
Oh yes, I was thinking about buying
Yep.
that game.
Uh,
Hmm.
they are just having a wild time with it.
Nice.
His channel is called Cold Bane, spelled KOULDBAYNE games.
Okay.
Um, he's just I'm always sharing it on my socials, so
Yeah.
I'm sure you'll catch it. But he does awesome game
Mm.
streams. He's been doing like some pre-recorded streams, like doing some Five Nights at Freddy's and a whole
Right.
bunch of others. Just an awesome time. Let's see here. Very good, thank you. Unfortunately, I will be leaving soon. I have to get up early tomorrow for work. No worries, figure
Thanks for
fever.
coming. Thanks for
But
coming.
yeah, Rolando threw the link up right there, so you can probably find it in the stream
Okay.
replay right
Okay.
there.
Great. After
That's
we're
how
done,
it's
I'll check
spelled,
it out.
Cold Bane Games. So,
Yes.
yeah, he's got awesome content. He's actually a good friend of mine. I've met him. Him and Dre and a few others. They're literally like family to me. And that's one of
Right.
the great things about the community was when I was real young in the community, I came across Sleeping Collectibles.
Hmm.
He's a great toy YouTuber, uh, toy collector that finds these amazing finds. And
Right.
he did these streams that were just like massive hangouts. Like we're
Mhm.
talking 80 to 100 people on a live stream, just hanging out, having a good time. That's
That's
how I
awesome.
met Aaron from
Yep.
Cold Bank Games. That's how I met Blue Sasquatch and a bunch of others. I became a
Mhm.
part of their community, met other people, met more people. And that's the thing. For me, success right now is helping support everyone else, other
Right.
people I come across. And it's also my stream for the cure
Yep.
for Roswell Park, obviously. This
Mhm.
year has been not the greatest fundraising year.
It
And
happened.
part of that has to do with a little bit of what's the right wording I'm looking for? Um a little bit of people, some people in the community feeling a certain kind of way about other people in the community, let's just say.
Mm.
Which is sad. Uh
Yes, that's not Western New York. That's not Western New York.
no, and these are people who are scattered across the country, and these are some people who, they have a hard time hanging on to co-hosts.
Mhm.
And they kind of came at me and my buddy Dre, because me and Dre, we do the Outer Dimension podcast where we actually do reviews, but not on
Mhm.
new movies. We actually review older films.
Okay.
Like one time we did a multiverse stream, or we did like a one where we're like, okay, like what is our pre Marvel Disney uh Marvel movies. We actually
Mhm.
reviewed the 1990s Captain America,
Yes.
the 1987 or 88 Dolph Lundgren Punisher.
Okay.
Yeah. And we did the made for TV movie
Uh-oh.
Nick Fury Agents of Shield starring David Hasselhoff.
Huh.
Okay, so we pick a lot of times we're picking some
Yeah.
obscure movies or movies that people
Yeah.
forgot about. And
Right.
Dre's the number crunchers. Like he will pull up what they actually made at the time of release,
Mhm.
and he will actually compare that to what that would relate to now in 2024.
Right.
So we compare numbers, like how well would that be? Do these
Mhm.
movies still hold up? We've done like family films. We did Hispanic Heritage Month, so we did a whole series of Hispanic Heritage or Hispanic centric movies.
Right.
I mean, we've done a lot of different stuff, but it's not the latest and greatest movies. But we kind of do shout outs like, okay, uh, what are your picks for the best video game inspired movies? Like I went with Super Mario, the old one with John Leguizamo and Bob Hoskins. We also reviewed the original Street Fighter with Jean-Claude Van Damme. We
Ooh, that
we're going like
mm.
with old school stuff, and then we also finished it
Yeah.
off with Double Dragon.
I don't remember that one, unfortunately.
Of course, it's based off the video game Double Dragon, but you
Right.
had what's his name, Scott Wolf from Party of Five starred in it, along with
Okay. Yeah, I remember Party
um
5.
Mark Dacascos, who is best known for Only the Strong. He's appeared in um, the third John Wick movie. Uh, I don't know
Oh, yeah.
if you saw that one.
Oh, I love the John Wick series.
Okay, he
I'm
was
ready for John Wick 5.
the bald sushi chef that was actually an assassin who was a big fan of John
Yes.
Wick.
Okay. Okay.
That's Mark Dacascos.
Okay.
He's done a lot of great stuff over the years, but that was like one of his big breaks was
Right.
Double Dragon, which also
Mhm.
co-starred Alyssa Milano. That don't get me started. It was just one of those weird movies,
Yeah.
but we have a great time. It's
Yeah.
just two guys shooting the breeze. Like
Yeah.
sometimes what we'll do is he will pick three films, and
Mhm.
we've even done battles where he picks three films and I pick three
Right.
films, but I
Mhm.
don't know what he's picking and he doesn't know what I'm picking.
Ooh, fun.
So we kind of have some fun with it, like,
Yeah.
hey,
Sounds like a good time.
what like your multiversal team up, like we did a Expendables type situation, but with superheroes and villains.
Oh my, I love that idea. That's
Yeah,
great.
we did this thing where like, okay, Drake came up with a scenario,
Yeah.
and he's like, okay, there's this multiversal plot with like Lex Luthor gonna destroy a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
What teams are you gathering to take him down, and why? So
Okay.
we kind of like, we
Yeah.
kind of did that. It's called the Outer
Nice.
Dimensions podcast. We have a bunch of fun, and it's just it's kind of great just to have a nice fun time. It's spontaneous, and there's very few podcasts and YouTubers who actually are spontaneous, and it doesn't sound like they're talking like this, like they're almost like AI
Right.
doing a video. You know,
Yeah.
it's like Sidebar Cantina on Mondays on YouTube. They do a great, awesome stream. Half the time they're either talking about like maybe it's, a movie that came out, or they're going over, hey, what are our top 50 picks for music of 1995? Like great
Hmm.
jams for like, they're just
Yeah.
a great channel. They're called
That sounds
Sidebar
fun.
Cantina. They're an awesome
Okay.
stream. And these are just two guys who are good friends, and they just have a great time. They do these little
Mhm.
crazy bits and skits, and it's awesome. It's entertaining because they're genuine, you
Right.
know.
And
But
speaking of genuine, I love to include at the end of my stuff, uh, bloopers.
bloopers,
And
yeah.
yeah, I love my bloopers because that's the genuine it can be. It's like I was gonna talk about this and I completely forgot. So, but I also love to do those. I love to watch old Disney movies. So
Okay.
I'm doing that.
Sorry, I don't understand.
Shut up, Siri.
I know, right? I love it.
Shut up,
Uh,
Beavis.
I did Luck of the Irish, Smart House, and I
Oh, wow.
love love Smart House because you have technology from then, the 90s, early 2000s,
Hmm.
and you see it now.
Yeah, it's
Like
scary.
it
Like,
predicted the future.
did you ever see a show called Eureka on
Sounds
Sci-Fi Channel?
familiar.
It was like think like if you took all the geniuses in the world and you put them in a town in
Mm,
America, but you
yep.
like outside of America, like regular cities and towns don't know that
Yeah.
this town of Eureka exists, and you have
Okay.
like all these zany geniuses, and now you have this like former like FBI agent
Mhm.
who now has taken up the duty of being the sheriff of this town. He's an
Okay.
average Joe, and he has to deal
Yeah.
with all these mad scientists. So,
Fun.
and a lot of that stuff, like having a like he's given a smart house. He's like, I don't know how to do a single thing in this smart house. And it's funny
Yeah.
because now all that stuff is like, it's everyday life. But yeah, you said smart house, and then you said Luck of the Irish. I'm like, wow,
Yeah.
that takes me
Yeah.
back.
I go back. I go back on those reviews. I think part of it was actually due to a podcast that I listened to on my drives, where Will Friedle, Eric Matthews, does a podcast of old Disney movies with.
I know who Will
Okay,
Friedle is. Batman Beyond, Terry McGinnis,
yes,
which
he.
I freaking loved. And I was amazed when I heard about he's got this massive social anxiety. Like he stepped away
Yes.
from doing acting, that he was doing voiceover because at least then there wasn't
Mhm.
judgment, there wasn't anxiety. It's just like him in a
Right,
booth, maybe with another person.
right.
But like he was like, what was it? He did a bunch of Disney movies, like something like with the president's daughter or
Yeah,
something like
yeah.
that.
I
And
still have to review that one.
yeah,
Yeah,
so wow, yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna have to look that up. I didn't know he was doing a podcast there.
yeah. It's the Magical World of Disney or something like that. Um, it's with him and Sabrina Bryan of the Cheetah Girls.
Okay.
So they're talking about old Disney movies. Obviously for copyright reasons, I'm not putting it in my ride-alongs, but that's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And then, yeah,
You gotta love copyright. There are some pretty good copyright free music. Like in my
yeah,
intros, I use I like there's this one group. They do
mhm,
they're known as NEFX Nefix,
yeah,
and
okay,
they do a lot of copyright free music. Like all their whole catalog is all copyright free. And they get like some depending like if you like rock or kind of like almost synth kind of it's almost like a little bit of like sprinkle a little bit of Eminem rap in with some rock.
interesting.
Like it's got
Okay,
like an Eminem Papa Roach kind of
I like Papa Roach.
it's kind
Yeah,
of hard to describe. A lot of they have some slow stuff, but they have some like stuff that is almost a little bit inspirational at times, like kind of gets you
okay,
pumped up.
Cool.
I really like a lot of their stuff.
Yeah.
For some of it has cursing, so beware.
Yeah.
But it's free music that
Mhm.
you can use. I mean, some of the stuff is available through YouTube's audio library, so you can download it and use it.
That's my crack. I love YouTube Library. It's a fun.
But honestly, there is free music out there that you can get. I mean,
Mhm.
legally that you can get, and it's so much better than what's in the YouTube library, because the YouTube library, you
Okay.
go through like 1,000 of them, and they just sound
Yeah.
like something that is like glorified 1997 video game music,
Okay.
you know. But yeah, you can definitely look around. And like with me, I've constantly, like, for the longest time, going back to YouTube creation, longest time,
Mhm.
like 1 year, I went through 4 or 5 different webcams because I was trying to improve my video quality, right?
Right.
And then I found out the secret. The secret is because I'm not a large enough channel.
Mhm.
YouTube does this thing where if your channel, let's say hypothetically under 100,000 subscribers, let's just say arbitrarily, okay,
Mhm.
if I'm at 85,000 subscribers or whatever, anything below that number, when I'm uploading a video, it's using this kind of a codec to upload, to encode that video, right?
Right.
But let's say I'm above 100,000 subscribers. Oh, well, now I get to use this one. It's the difference between, okay, we're going to sit you by the bathrooms in this restaurant, or, oh, no, here, so let me get you to the VIP section here.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah, we're going to give you complimentary treats here. It's that's the thing. It gives you a higher priority, and your video winds up looking better than, let's say, you or I. Because like right now, we're looking at StreamYard. Our videos are looking pretty good right now.
Right.
When we go to YouTube, it's going to look a little bit fuzzier. Just a little
Okay.
bit fuzzier, because that's the priority, especially when it comes to live streams and when it comes to uploads. There's one program I use that I paid for, actually,
Mhm.
and it encodes my video. I try to change the refresh rate to make it look like the highest quality ever. So by the
Yeah.
time it is uploaded through that codec that YouTube uses, it's okay. It's slightly better than what it used to be. And that's a problem with a lot of people, because you almost feel like, okay, I'm making this content, but why aren't people liking it? Well, would
Mhm.
you rather watch something in like an old fuzzy CRT monitor from like the 80s and 90s, or would you rather watch something on a 4K monitor? I
Right.
mean, it's like in video game terms, it's like, hey, do I want to watch something in 20 frames per second, or do I want to watch something in 60 frames per second?
Mhm.
You know,
Okay.
it's that little thing, but in our heads, it makes us think like, geez, what else can I do to make things look better? I mean, you could have the best sound ever. You could have the best content, but if
Mhm.
people, if something isn't keeping people interested, like if they think, oh, well, this person should have a better camera, well, that's not always the easiest thing.
Right.
Some of us don't have, $700 to $1,000 to drop for a
Nope.
DSLR camera.
Nope.
I mean, I'm using the version 1 Elgato webcam. I waited
There you
for an
go.
Amazon deal and I got it for $99. I scored that. I have a secondary camera, which is an old C922.
Right.
You know, it's not the greatest camera, but it's what
Right.
I use. Sometimes when I'm recording out and about, I use my phone. But the
Yep.
problem is with my phone, yeah, it looks great when I'm reviewing the video on my phone. But once I upload it to the computer, it's a different story, because guess what? The screen on my phone is way better than anything I have on my computers.
Yeah. They
You
are
know,
now. Yeah.
you got those 4K, almost 8K HDR type screens on your phones. So yeah,
Yeah.
when you're playing it back, it's going to look friggin' amazing. Now, if I
Right.
play it back on my gaming monitor, it'll look okay. But by the time it gets uploaded to YouTube, it's a whole other story.
Mhm.
And that's one thing that I think frustrates a lot of people. But you said you've been doing this a year, so I'm going to say this. So don't let the technology get you down.
Right.
If you ever feel like you're stressing out, okay, if you ever feel like YouTube, you know, it's not fun anymore, take a
Mhm.
break.
Absolutely.
It's okay to take a break, just like it's okay to say you're not, it's okay to not be okay.
Right.
It's okay to, remove yourself from a situation. I mean,
hmm
sometimes when things are chaotic, like it feels like the world is closing in on you, it's okay to step back, step out of that box, remove yourself, and kind of collect yourself. I know people who've been on YouTube a lot longer than I have, and they will take 6 or 8 months or maybe a year or two off
Right.
because maybe they're just not in the right headspace. But I'll say this, I often tell people the only person who can make you feel bad is yourself, because you're
hmm
letting other people's words get to you. I've had people call me trash. I've had people call me all kinds of things. What really gets me is when there's someone who I know is struggling, someone who's a friend, and people are attacking that person. Don't attack that person. I don't care what you can say anything you want about me. Don't say anything about these people because they're doing their best. So what do you have coming up on your channel this week? Do you have anything coming up this week or next week? Anything you want
Next
to promote?
week, I got World Surf in North Carolina.
Yes.
They have their wonderful car show every year from now till the beginning of September. I'm planning on doing that whenever the weather was nice. The weather was nice actually on this past Monday, but I didn't get out there because I wasn't sure if they were going to have a show. Wellsville Balloon Rally.
Okay.
That's in July down in Wellsville, New York, in the southern tier. The gaming channels is always something. I have AI music. I just finished up where Prince sings Elvis, and Elvis sings NSYNC's Gone from their Celebrity album. Also, I love boy bands.
Now,
Uh,
have you ever thought about a video on showing people how to do AI music?
oh, geez. I mean, it's so simple. I'll make a note.
And I mean, if you say it's so, I've never done any AI music, so for me, it would be something pretty interesting. And if I find it interesting, I'm sure a lot of other people will. Because I think that would be pretty cool. And I mean, one, if anything, you do, and I get it. I get that the algorithm, oh, you're only supposed to do what's in this niche on this channel.
Right.
But sometimes doing something out of the box can draw people into your channel. They're like, hey, oh,
Or,
wait a minute, he does this stuff. Okay, that's pretty
yeah.
cool. Maybe they'll stick around for it. Sometimes doing something out of the box is like, hey, I just made this fresh apple pie. I just pulled it out of the oven. Yeah, smell that. That's pretty good. Oh, hey, can I get a slice? It sometimes crossing streams works.
Hey, that's
All,
good.
hey,
There you go. There you go. Yes.
well, you being Western New York, you might have you ever heard of the Buffalo Ghostbusters?
Yes, they sound familiar, don't they? Didn't they go through the asylum a couple times? Okay. Yeah, that's amazing.
Holding the chicken wing. That's one of I'm a part of, actually. That's the charity group that's cosplay charity group I'm actually involved with here in Buffalo, is the Buffalo Ghostbusters.
Nice.
Where we have ectos and we have the full gear.
Yeah.
That's why I got a proton pack over here. I got another one over there. So
Fun. Fun.
so yeah. Yeah, we're actually big thing we have going up is, and if you're a Ghostbusters fan, come down to New York City June 8th. It's the 40th anniversary of Ghostbusters coming out, and every year we actually hold a Ghostbuster fan day at the Firehouse in Hook and Ladder 8 in New York City in Tribeca, New York. So we have that going on. Do you ever do Nickel City Con?
I've been there. I didn't have a channel back then.
Okay.
Yeah.
They usually have a lot of cool stuff. Movies, some movie celebrities. They had an actor from from Land of the Dead. They had the original Goblin head from the truck from Maximum Overdrive. They usually have like a lot of cool memorabilia stuff there. a lot of charity. Like you get the 501, the 501st there for Star
Yeah.
Wars. Buffalo
Nice.
Ghostbusters are also 501c3 now, so we were fully
Yeah.
recognized. They have, if you're into like vintage stuff, they're actually having a cast reunion of Dukes of Hazzard, which is kind of crazy.
Mm,
Tom
yeah.
Wopat, John Schneider, and I'm forgetting her name, but the one who played Daisy, all three of them are supposed to be there. If you're
Ooh,
into wrestling, a bunch of classic wrestlers are going to be there, like Mick
okay.
Foley and a whole bunch of others. It's
Yeah.
usually a really, really cool time, and it's just nice to kind of like walk around and see all the craziness. There's a Buffalo Lego group. They do these massive Lego displays. It's just a very cool time. It usually runs 3 days. I think it's gonna be, I want to say June 30th this year. No, it's gonna be June 28th, 29th, and the 30th. So right before July 4th weekend. So yeah, that's usually a pretty cool event to check out.
Mhm.
But yeah, throw a few ideas out there for you to do some vlogging.
Ooh, yeah.
I
Well,
mean,
my question.
usually Buffalo has tons of stuff like with the,
They do.
the, what is it, the food, Taste of Buffalo, the food
Yeah.
festival, and then the Italian fest and everything else going around the area.
Oh, of course.
Usually summer's pretty bustling, so you probably get a lot of
Yeah.
content out of that.
I do. Unfortunately, with my anxiety, I don't like crowds.
Yeah, trust me, I get that. I get that sense, because I think a lot of people got spoiled during the pandemic because there weren't as many people out on the roads.
Oh,
Stores were
yes.
not crowded, so a
Right.
lot of people were like, they weren't spoiled.
Yeah.
They weren't surrounded by tons of people. So now when you go to places,
Yeah.
it's kind of sensory overload. You have loud music playing,
Absolutely.
people are
Yeah.
shouting, and it feels like the walls are closing in on you, especially even when you're outside.
Yeah.
One thing I was glad to hear was the Erie County Fair actually has a sensory room now.
Okay.
So when
And
people are feeling, like it's getting too much, they can go
yeah.
there and kind of like decompress and just,
Now you and I know sensory and what it means. You may want to
yes.
explain a little bit to your
Well,
viewers.
a lot of people who are currently in the chat know they
Okay.
know
Okay.
like Dre
My
has a couple
apologies.
kids, so
Okay.
when there's just an overload of either visual senses or your hearing,
Yeah.
just crowded places where people are bumped, arm to arm. Dre knows because he goes to cons, and him and his wife and kids, they go to cons and events all the time. So that's the thing that you're surrounded by people. When we were working from home, people were working from home during the pandemic, you didn't have that.
Right.
For me, I was in this room using a computer, working
Mhm.
remotely, and I had my cat,
There you go.
and well, we call her Murder Cat now because she likes to cut me and scratch me like there's no tomorrow, but that's
Yeah.
another story.
Right.
But obviously you have a lot of content coming up. Any
Right.
video game content? Would you ever consider doing any classic video games, given the
I do
opportunity?
have. I'm glad you brought that up. I do have Tetris. I have 32 levels of Tetris from when I play on my phone. I also finished up Impossible Creatures from 2002 Microsoft games.
Okay.
Trying to think what else. It's not a classic.
Now, when you're doing your games, are you doing them on a computer?
I vary
Okay.
between console, handheld, and computer.
Because I was just wondering, I know there's emulators now that you can get classic games on your phone. Was gonna say, have you ever thought about trying to mirror your phone onto your computer to screen record?
I can stream via an app on my phone. So
Okay.
yeah,
Okay. Because I know you can screen record on your phone, but
yeah,
sometimes using those extra apps in the background can actually drain your battery power even quicker. So depending on how long of a content you're trying to do, you might be having to recharge your phone all the time.
or keep it plugged in.
Now, I want to share something with you here. Let me actually pull
Sure.
this up. I think you'll get a kick out of this.
Okay.
I was talking to a friend of mine yesterday because I was
Yeah.
at the slow roll for Buffalo yesterday.
Yeah. How'd that go?
And well, first time doing it, it was very
Okay.
slow. It's only a
Okay.
10-mile route, but
Okay.
everyone's going at a very slow pace, and they're kind of like turn this turn and this turn and this turn. There was a
Mhm.
lot of people there, so
Yeah.
me, I'm one of those people where like when I'm biking, I'm usually pedaling really fast. I
Oh,
have an
okay.
e-bike, it's a pedal assist, but
Right.
I can ride from West Seneca to Grand Island in about just under 2 hours.
Now, in the sense of you and I know how much mileage that is, but that's
It's about 22 miles.
yeah, man.
So,
I feel lazy next to you.
well, it is an e-bike, so I do have the pedal
Ah,
assist, but I only use it on like pedal assist 1. So I'm
yeah.
averaging, but the thing is, what slows me down is all the side streets because I go from Union to Clinton
Yeah. Right.
all the way down to Bailey,
Mhm.
take Bailey over,
Right.
and I'm on Seneca all the way down to downtown Buffalo, and then I
Yep.
go down Niagara, then hop on the trails because when you
Yep.
get to a certain point at Niagara, right before the Peace Bridge, there's
Yep.
trails that will take you the rest of the way to Grand Island. But
Yep.
once I hit the trails, oh, I can crank it up and go.
There you go. There you
I
go.
get I
Yeah.
get my e-bike up to 29 miles an hour on a flat track. I can get up to
Fine.
29 miles an
Alright.
hour doing pedal assist. So it's a fat tire bike because I'm a larger guy, but it
Yeah.
allows me to ride through sand.
Okay.
I can ride off road. I don't need sidewalks. Where I'm going, I don't need roads.
Mhm. I
Giggity.
love it. Love it.
So,
Love
well,
it.
I'm a big Back to the Future fan, so there's that.
Same. Same. Absolutely.
Would it surprise you if I told you I built a Back to the Future proton pack?
No, not right now.
That was
That's
actually my
awesome.
first proton pack. Was a
Yeah.
Spirit Halloween, and I painted it silver.
Yeah.
I added a whole bunch of Back to the Future stuff on it. That was my first
Mhm.
cosplay before I even met the Buffalo Ghostbusters. That was my first ever cosplay. I actually sold the pack 2 years ago to fund the HasLab proton pack. And I was like, well, it's just collecting dust here, and it's small because it was 80% scale. Now that I
Right.
get this boy here, the 3D printer, I'm going to be building
Okay.
a new version of that Flux pack
Right.
1-to-1 scale. So it's going to be big. It's going to be massive. It's going to have tons of craziness to it. I've already been
Fun.
talking to a few people. So,
Now, do you have a concept for it? Like,
oh yeah.
you said that
The first one I built was basically the Ghostbuster shell.
right.
Let me see. You know what? I'm going to pull up a picture of it.
Yeah.
Let's see. Can I pull up the icon here? Yeah, I'm going to change my icon real quick so you can see it.
Sure.
Take a look up there on the screen.
Yeah. Wow.
That was my Flux pack.
Wow.
So I had a light bar going right
Yeah.
here, which
Yeah.
is actually made out of old oxygen hose, a screen mesh, and an LED wire that I got from Amazon. This
Mhm.
right, like the little round thing you see in front of it, that's Mr.
Yeah.
Fusion. I got a little USB charger, Mr.
Mhm.
Fusion, and I
Right.
mounted it sideways. At the top is a flux capacitor, but that's from a Yahtzee game. So when it shook, it automatically lit up. So that made perfect sense while I was walking around.
That's
Yeah, I
fun.
mean, I completely made that into something no one would have thought. And there's
No,
people
and
who've made their own
that's
packs.
a wonderful job. You did such a great job.
But see, now that I can 3D print parts,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
can do even more customizing than ever before.
Right.
And like because it was so small, I put a tube on the side.
Yeah.
I had LED lights in there, but I created a story that okay, people were like, "Oh, it's Back to the Future. Do you just zap it to another time?" Like, no. When I shoot
Mhm.
the particle beam, the capture stream, as we call it,
Yeah.
it captures the ghost. But what it does is because it's Back to the Future's flux capacitor, it makes the
Yeah.
ghost weaker to when it first became a ghost, so it's easier to
Mm.
catch. And the
Yes.
the light bar that you see on the side of it, that
Yeah.
was the temporal slime filter. So
Okay.
what I did was I actually filled it up with hair gel. So it looked like
Okay.
slime, and
Yeah.
I had an LED light so I could change the colors to whatever I wanted.
That's amazing.
So yeah, because I mean, it's one thing to cosplay; you have to have a story for your cosplay as well.
Yeah. How long did that
So,
take you?
took me about 6 months because I built that in
Okay.
2018.
Yeah.
2018 or 2019, one of those. I think it was 2018. Niagara
Okay.
Falls Comic Con in Canada. They were having Christopher Lloyd there. It was the
Oh,
anniversary.
love that guy. Love
Yeah,
him.
I mean, you had Doc Brown.
Yeah.
And it was the 35th anniversary of Ghostbusters. So I was like, well, what
Oh,
am I
that's
gonna do?
yeah.
No, is the 30th? I don't know. My brain can't
Mm.
science right now.
Yeah.
I can't math right now. But what happened
That's
was,
fine.
I was like, well, I remember reading a fan fiction years ago, which
Yeah.
was Doc Brown working in the private sector with
Okay.
Dr. Ray Stans. And
Mind blown.
and I was like, okay, what if they worked together? Because that was a fan
Yeah.
fiction, so it's not canon. I'm like, what
Right.
if they worked together to build
Mhm.
a proton pack? And those are my
Okay.
two big fandoms were
Yeah.
Ghostbusters and Back to the Future. So I said, what the hell? This is me going through a midlife crisis. I'm like, well, I'll do my first ever cosplay,
Yeah.
and we'll go ahead and we'll do this. And I did. I pulled it off,
Cool.
my first ever cosplay. I got this
Yeah.
gray suit, which really couldn't breathe. Mind you, now I went through gastric bypass a couple years ago.
Right.
So at the time, I was 495 pounds.
Mhm.
I'm 380 right now. So it's a
Congratulations.
little over 100 pounds difference. But imagine being at a Comic Con in June in
Yeah.
Canada, wearing a
Right.
jumpsuit that is thick enough to where like it's heavy. One, it's heavy. It doesn't breathe well. So I'm
Mhm.
sweating profusely. It was just
Right.
it was a nightmare. However,
Mm.
I'm wearing this proton pack. People are asking me, "Hey, can I take a picture of your proton pack?" Like,
Mhm.
yeah, please. By all
Mhm.
means. So many
Yeah.
people were blown away by the pack, but I had
Right.
this experience where this mother asked if her son could take a picture with me.
Uh-huh.
I'm like, sure. What am I going to
Right.
say? No. And
Yeah.
little kid is in his own little Ghostbuster outfit, and says I want to be just like you. I'm like,
Oh,
what?
that's adorable.
I'm like, I'm holding it back because I just feel
Yeah.
like this is like the best thing ever. And
Yeah.
his mother says, "Oh, where are you set up at?" I'm like, I'm not set up at anywhere.
Mm.
I'm just a guest like you. But that was
Yeah.
like one of the biggest compliments. So between the
Right.
interaction with the kid and then the mother saying that, I was like,
Yeah.
okay, I got to keep this going. I got to do something. Later that summer, I came across the Buffalo Ghostbusters and I joined up with them. And, it was just, one of the best things ever. I'm trying to pull up, there's a microphone that you probably would like. Here it is. I'm going to pull it up on screen here. Amazon has some amazing cheap stuff. They really do.
I love amazingly cheap.
Okay, this is $20. They have this this is the Apple version, but there's also an Android version
Okay.
where that plugs into your charging port on your phone.
Okay.
These,
Yeah.
you just turn it on. It's basically an inexpensive small lavalier mic, and it
Okay.
this signal broadcasts to this.
Ooh.
So when you're recording, if I'm
Yeah.
recording with my phone,
Right.
when I have it plugged in here, all the audio recording is defaulted to that unit, so it's picking up from the mics only. It's not
Mhm.
picking up if you're behind it. It won't pick up any of your sound. It only picks up from the microphones. And it comes with two, so you could have one on. And if you're somewhere and you want to interview someone or ask them a question, you could have the other one in your hand and kind of have it in front of them.
Okay.
My wife
Send me a
and
link in the email.
oh yeah. I mean, I find like little stuff like this, and it's like, what do you use, an iPhone or an Android?
Android.
Android, okay. I'll see if I can find the Android version of that.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, hey, for $20, it's pretty inexpensive. They charge through USB Type C.
Oh, fun.
So
okay.
You can connect
Standard.
it to a tablet or any
Standard.
kind of phones here.
Yeah.
So like I look for like little inexpensive stuff like that all the damn time. Like,
I may actually wait till Amazon Prime Day and see what what it's then,
Yeah.
what the price is then.
Try to see if I can find some of my other stuff. Like for like overhead stuff, like I have
Yeah.
this. I use this for my C922 camera, so I can do
Okay.
like overhead stuff.
Right.
But it is sturdy like you wouldn't believe. There's
Cool.
just tons of little stuff that I shop around for all the time. You know, because I don't want to spend $100 on
Yeah.
a mouse.
No.
I know there are people that
Absolutely.
can, but more power to you. But
Nope.
there's
I'm
stuff.
not. I'm not. Nope. I love my tech, but there's a fine line where I draw.
Yeah, I mean, there's some people who they buy all kinds of different stuff all the time, and it's like, nah, that's not me. That
Yeah.
is not me. Like I got these key lights for
Okay.
behind my
Yeah.
monitors. They're not
Right.
bad. I mean, they add some light. They're what I'm
Yeah.
using right now. Because
Okay. You look good.
if I turn one off,
Yeah.
you know,
Okay.
a lot of people when they're doing videos, they kind of look like that.
Yeah.
I learned a long time ago that light is key, no pun intended.
Yes. Yes.
You know, and they have different modes here. Like I can do like a warm, a soft, or both. You know,
Okay.
because sometimes you get the washouts. I mean, like this
Yeah.
room, I have a cheap Walmart lamp in the back. There's no light fixture in here. The other lighting is just puck lights that I have on my bookshelves.
These are that's my string light collection, and it goes
Well,
all the way around the room.
I have a string light that goes around the room, but it's old and I seriously need to replace it.
Yeah.
But there's like little tricks that people can do for stuff. Like
Right.
I'm on Instagram at Dave's_dimension. You can see
Okay.
pictures of some of the packs I've done, some of
Yeah.
reviews and stuff. But
Mhm.
like that's my thing. I like and see the thing is I like buying inexpensive stuff
Mhm.
because then like also it shows someone else tricks. It shows someone
True.
else, hey, I don't have to spend $150 on a portable mic. You know, you
Yeah.
can, and if you can, more power to you. And
Exactly.
some of that stuff really has some extras, some bells
Yeah.
and whistles.
Right.
But if I can show someone, hey, you can get some inexpensive mics for about so much.
Right.
For someone who's on the go, and one, if you're at a busy place and you lose it, you're not going to go out of your mind because it was only $20.
Right.
You know, I think that's pretty amazing all onto itself right there.
Mhm.
But like I am such a friggin' Amazon shopper. It's not even funny.
Oh, man.
Like
Yep. Yep. I mean, I think I dropped. What I dropped? I am so broke this month because everything that I want is on sale, or not want. Everything I find is on sale, and it's like, oh crap. So, yeah.
I mean, like, you know, between pet carriers, vitamins, and of course action figures, of course.
Oh,
You know, there's always stuff that I'm constantly buying. Like,
yep.
okay, this mic stand, I got this mic stand actually lights up.
Right.
This microphone I'm using, I
Yeah.
get slightly better sound quality on this than I do on like a Blue Yeti,
Okay.
which a lot of people use. I mean, that's a great podcast type mic, but for
Yeah.
me, I actually get a little bit better sound and less glitching with
Mhm.
this, which is kind of crazy if you think about it. Or
Right.
like I need to buy myself a new pair of earbuds, but I spend usually around $20 to $25 for them.
Cool. Yeah.
I don't believe in having to spend, oh, I need to spend $200 on a pair of earbuds. No.
Right.
If I get a $20 pair of earbuds and they have okay sound, then great. If I lose them, well, I'm not gonna be crying spilled milk, you
Right.
know. So there's like little stuff like that. I have to buy a
Mhm.
bunch of bike, like I gotta buy a medical kit for my bike in case anything happens with the ride this
That-
year.
Yeah.
Because with Ride for Roswell, they have marshals, but sometimes the marshals aren't around. They can only be in so many places at once, you
Right.
know. So at least this way, if someone is hurt or something, I can stop by. I have some bandages on my bike, or I carry a lot of tools on my bike. Someone breaks down, I'll stop by and try and help them. That's just,
Right.
to me, that's kind of common sense. Here's something you might like.
Hit me with it.
Let me pull this back up.
Yeah.
I swear by this.
Ah,
I have a couple of these. These are friggin' phenomenal. I don't have this specific one, but there's
okay.
some very similar to it where it's a clamp. And I have used this. I will clamp it on. You can clamp it onto a tree, a pole, uh, a bookshelf somewhere, and then you have like your little mounts for your camera for your cell
Yeah.
phone rather. Let me go to this one right here. I mean, you get the little cell phone holder right there,
Okay.
so you can
Okay.
set it up. You get like a little Bluetooth remote, so you can start and record your video. You
Yeah.
got you got your microphone. You step away, and you can just do stuff from a distance.
Okay.
I've used this outside. I've used it inside. I've actually used it for other purposes. I needed to paint some stuff, and I actually rotated it in such a way that it worked as a stand, so I could paint something by hand.
Oh, you paint.
Yeah. Well, like my props.
Oh, okay.
Like
I thought you
for
meant
example, like
painting.
this stuff. This is all
Okay.
hand painted right here.
Oh,
So I've
fun.
done stuff like that.
Awesome. Awesome.
I'm trying to see, do I have it around here?
I feel like we're ignoring your fans. Do they have any questions?
Oh no, this is Blucker's videos and toys first time watching the stream. We're
Fun.
actually wrapping
Hello.
up. We're actually wrapping up.
Yeah.
On every Tuesday night, I'm doing a live stream, usually around 8 o'clock p.m. Until whenever, where I'm
Mhm.
helping other YouTubers help to kind of like grow their audience, kind of crossing the streams, as it were.
Mm.
We have David's Life, and he also has a second channel called Gamr for Life, where he does mostly sports games and creative games. So you definitely want to check him out. All the links are in the video description below. But also, if you notice, there's a little marquee that's scrolling at the bottom of the screen. Stream for the Cure is my annual fundraising event for Roswell Park Comprehensive Cancer Institute. We're giving away mystery prize boxes. Some are going to be NECA Ninja Turtle 2-pack figures for like as featured in the movie. We have several comic book collectible boxes courtesy of Dre of the Collector Safe Space. We also have a Ghostbusters special Ghostbuster prize box, courtesy of Dave's Dimension, of course. So we have a lot of great prizes, and we're even going to be giving away a Star Wars Trooper helmet. Let me actually show you what I mean. And that is
That's so
courtesy
exciting
of the
for you.
one, the only Mr. B. So this Black Series Captain Rex helmet we are giving away on one of the wheels. One $10 donation gets you entered in on all the wheels that we're doing. And it's going to be an elimination wheel, last person standing. So whether you do one entry or 10 entries, all that matters is you're the last person standing. All you have to do is go to the link in the video description below that says Ride for Roswell, click on the link, donate $10, and then message me on Dave's _ dimension or on my email at davesdimension78@gmail.com. Send me a screen capture of your donation and also send me your first and last name and your screen name, and you are entered in on all the wheels. I think we have about 7 or 8 wheels, I think. And all those 7 wheels, your name gets entered in on. Now, if you want to double your chance, well, donate $20 and then you have 2 entries on each wheel. It's just that simple. All the money, all the proceeds go directly towards Ride for Roswell because you're going directly to their website. I'm handling nothing but giving out the prizes, guys. So that's all you have to do. Yeah, my first year I did 8. I think last year I did 10 hours, and I'm doing 10 hours again this year. I did threaten that we might go longer depending on things, and it's an open house, so anybody and everyone can come in.
Fine.
Now, do you have any last words or questions on anything? Any last thoughts you would like to impart on the audience? Because we'll also have a lot of replays too.
It was a pleasure being here. It's nice to talk to another Western New Yorker.
Another Western New Yorker?
Yes. My question to you is actually, what type of chicken wing do you like? That's been burning in my head for the last 2 hours. Your type of
what kind of chicken wing do I like? What do you mean, like as far as like hot, like sauces?
Whatever. I mean, I like a crispy or a double crispy lemon pepper or Parmesan cheese.
I like crunchy. Okay,
Yeah.
I like crunchy, but believe it or not, I am all about the boneless. I really love
Makes
boneless.
sense. Okay. Okay. I like.
Boneless.
Yeah.
I like boneless, but also like if it's regular chicken wings, I'm a flats person.
I agree. I can. Actually, I have no preference. I love them both.
Well,
I
since
love.
you're gonna come at me with that,
Yeah.
blue cheese or ranch?
Oh. Oh. The debate of West New Yorkers. I'm a ranch. Yourself?
Oh, wow. Jeez. Okay, stream's over. No, I'm kidding. Well, stream's gonna be over in a few minutes, anyways. But see, those that don't
I
know,
love it.
that is a real discussion.
It
That
is.
is an argument.
Absolutely.
People have been stabbed over this. And I'm not kidding you.
He's not kidding. I know the stories. Yes.
It's all Buffalo's predominantly blue cheese. It's a thing.
Yeah.
Although one year the National Chicken Wing Festival, which is held here in Buffalo, technically
It
now
is.
Orchard Park at the Bill Stadium,
Okay. Right.
was one year. It was actually sponsored by Hellman's, or was it
Oh,
Hill
man.
Valley? No, Hill Valley Ranch.
Okay, that's better. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. Oh,
And
that's
that was the
hysterical.
most. That was hilarious. That was.
I love that. As soon as you
I'm
said
like,
that, oh, that is funny. That's good.
I mean, that was a real thing.
You know, some
And if-
people actually, well, some people still debate who shot first, mine or the other guy. We have the a different one, Ranger Blue Cheese.
I was up in upstate New York
Yeah.
last Christmas,
Right.
having lunch with a few people,
Right.
and I was asked, "So, would you like ranch or blue cheese?" And I just
Hmm.
looked at the waitress like, now this is like Saratoga. This is Ballston Spa, upstate New York.
Yeah.
You know,
Mhm.
a little ways from Glens Falls, and you know, it's upstate, right?
Right.
So they don't know.
No,
They
they
don't know.
don't. They don't.
So my wife looks at me, waiting to hear my response. And I said,
I love the story already. It's great.
there's only one choice, and that's blue cheese. I'm from Buffalo, New York. There's only one choice. And she just like waitress kind of like, well, I'm like I was offended. I was being a smartass when I did it. But
Right.
she was like, oh, she's like, no, we have to ask everyone. I was like, well, I'm from Buffalo. It's only blue cheese. My brother even dips his pizza in blue cheese, or he pours blue cheese over his pizza. It's a thing. But this kid can also take a chicken wing and pull it out. It's just bones.
So you
He's
do
one
a
of
Joey
those people.
Chestnut.
Huh?
Joey Chestnut?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So yeah. So again, everyone, please go to the video description below. Please check out David's life and of course Gamr for life. And as always, the dimension is always open to you, David. If you ever want to come in, you want to promote anything going on,
Right.
whether I'm doing a live stream or you think that there's something you want to, join in on, if you have any kind of special, if you're doing any charity fundraisers, let me know. We'll help you promote. The channel's always open to everyone.
And the sentiment's right back at you, especially being a fellow Western New Yorker.
Yeah.
You and I.
I'm curious to see, can we find other Western New Yorkers who
Right.
are YouTubers, right?
I knew someone who had a YouTube channel. He unfortunately passed, but he was big in the cons. I'm going to throw this name out. David Schwartz.
Another David.
Of course.
Yeah.
It's a Dave thing. It should be our tagline. Should have a shirt.
Well, see, the funny thing is,
yeah,
in life, I go by David.
Okay.
I was never a fan of going by Dave.
Mm-hmm.
But for some reason, when it came time to name my channel, because for my first handful of videos, I was going by my first and last name.
Right.
But then I said, I am all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
And I've always been someone who I love Doctor Who, which of course the TARDIS stands for time and relative dimensions in space.
Right.
I love any kind of alternate universe type stuff. I used to love the show Sliders when I was younger.
I bought that and watched it. Hated the
still have
finale, but
I
that's
still. Oh yeah.
mm-mm,
See, at least if that was made today, at least they would
yeah,
probably say, okay, yeah, we'll give you the 2-hour TV movie to wrap it up.
yeah.
But
Actually, speaking of,
go ahead.
go ahead. I'm still listening. I'm grabbing something.
No, I was gonna say, I mean, of all things, to have it where Remy jumps through the vortex and you don't know if he makes it or not,
Yep.
let alone getting to Earth and then making it to someone who can synthesize the virus, the plague, so he can, destroy the Cro-Mags and, you know,
Yeah.
and also, I see what you did there.
Yep. I got the
See,
whole theory. Quantum Leap, the original.
guys, should we show him? Should we?
What do you
I
got?
think we should.
What do you got?
Okay, I'm a
And then I also,
massive Quantum Leap fan. Okay, back in my DJ days, I was actually known as DJ Leap. Timeless was a
nice.
great show as well.
Yeah.
Canceled before its time.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm glad.
But this is going to go back to about last year.
Okay.
I actually hosted, and we pull it up right here.
Uh-huh.
I was hosting a stream called the Quantum Leap Leapcast when the new show came out.
Oh, okay.
I mean, like, it was the Leapcast.
Fun. I love that name. That's great.
Okay. And I was co-hosting it with the Wolfpack from he's
Okay.
on the West Coast, and also
Okay.
Super Awesome Geek Show. We were hosting a few things, but then everyone's schedules got a little chaotic, so we weren't able to continue it. But
Right.
yeah, I did like a whole intro here. Yeah, I had I picked some almost Quantum Leap type music.
Yeah.
I mean, we had fun with it. It was just a
You
blast.
had the colors down, which is very cool too.
Oh,
I noticed the colors.
let me see if I can pull up the original. Let me just Leapcast, because the first intro I had was that thing was just, it was nuts. Let me see. Hold on. I want to do something a little different here. Let's close that out. I'll stop sharing that, and I'm going to pull up a file. That is, if I still have it, because I've been meaning to do a recap of season 2. It's a shame that they canceled it, because I really thought Quantum Leap finally found its footing this year.
I'm sorry, you're telling me breaking news. You're telling me the remake is canceled.
Yes. So they completed season 2, but they decided not to do a third season, which was like, it was a stab in my heart. It really was.
Yeah.
I thought did you watch season 2 at all of the new Quantum Leap?
Yes, I loved it. I don't know. Are they coming? They still have a couple episodes to air?
No.
Or are they done?
They're done.
Oof.
They are done.
Really?
Done as in doornail. Where are you? I have the.
Shoot. Oh, okay.
Welcome to the Quantum Leap Leapcast, where each week we discuss the brand new episodes of Quantum Leap. Yeah, I did the whole intro, questions, and give our own thoughts and opinions on the adventures of a doctor who's traveling through time trying to make things right that once went wrong. So, guys, welcome.
That's awesome. You did a great job.
Because I'm like, and I made that before the show aired, because I was kind of going for the old Quantum Leap.
Yeah.
Because they never used that actual leap effect in the show, so that was the thing. But I am planning to do a recap of of Quantum Leap season 2 at some point. I want to do covers of that, because I mean, the show itself I thought was, it was, again, the original Quantum Leap was ahead of its time, let's be honest.
100%. Yes.
So and I liked how they sprinkled little bits of Quantum Leap into it, especially season 2. I mean, they touched base on how time changed.
Right.
Blucher is my last name, and of course, David is my first name. So another YouTuber.
We're just rounding up the Daves.
Hey,
it's great.
It's the multiverse of David right now. But yeah, I season 1 was a little. It felt like it was shadow boxing the original series. Like, we get him leaping into a boxer.
Yeah.
We get him leaping into like a bounty hunter. a little bit of it kind of felt like telegraphing of the original series. But
And I was looking for the remake to be a separate but equal.
like a reboots or
Yes, I was looking for, like you were saying, sprinkled in, but be its own thing.
well, see, one
Um,
thing I was always hoping was for Scott to come back,
yes,
but
yeah,
I get why he didn't.
okay,
For
good
everyone
show.
out there, my theory why Scott
Yeah.
Bakula did not come back is it was barely a year and change since Dean Stockwell passed away.
Right, yes,
And
yes.
him and Dean were such good friends in real life, not only on the
You
show
could-
but in real life. I mean, they really were Sam and Al.
Right,
Because I mean, even when Scott went on to doing Star Trek Enterprise, which to me is still one of my favorite Star Trek shows, believe it or not. It was a
okay.
prequel. It was on the UPN network years ago. It was a prequel series that takes place before Captain Kirk. It was
Oh, fun.
humans going into space on the first Warp 5 ship ever.
Ooh,
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah, this is like the first time they run into a Klingon, and a lot of times they are barely making it out of situations. Like,
yeah,
this is before there was the Federation. They had Starfleet on Earth, but there was no
right,
Federation yet. So it's kind of a fun watch if you like Quantum Leap and you like a lot of the other sci-fi shows that apparently you and I both like.
yeah,
It's a fun thing to do. It's a
okay,
fun. The show was kind of the UPN network was very involved, so they were kind of putting their own agenda into it. It was finally finding its footing in the third or fourth season, which wound up
right.
being its last. So it was a thing.
Well, it could be
But
worse.
but
I was gonna say,
Dean Stockwell
yeah,
appeared on there. He even came on the
really?
show. I mean, that's how good him and Scott were. They were so good friends that he even got
They,
got him to come on to
oh,
Enterprise.
that had to be a fun episode.
Well, it was because Dean was playing this like militaristic leader of this world
Oh,
who
mm,
had captured Scott, and
mm,
Scott's like one of his like I think it was his navigator, and they're in
okay,
a prison and being mistreated, and it was this whole like this adversary thing. And it was really great to see that.
right,
But yeah, it was sad when Dean passed away because we kind of knew we weren't going to get the reunion we wanted, because we
yeah,
always thought that as fans, I read the novels because there was a series of novels that actually were made
okay,
after the show ended. There was even
mhm,
a limited run comic book. They had this thing where a lot of people wanted it to be like Al was still searching for Sam after Sam vanished. But then we did kind of get that with the series.
yes,
The first season, of course, with his daughter kind of going
yes,
rogue.
loved it,
I love that she had the hand link.
yes,
And if you ask me, that's the freaking hand link we should have got the whole damn time, and not the
mhm,
little Siri Alexa
yeah,
microphone
yeah,
that
yeah, the circle
that
one, yeah,
Addison was using. That was complete trash. Um, to me, I was watching the first episode. I was like, okay, I'm gonna give it a couple episodes to
yeah,
see
yeah,
what it does. I mean, we
mhm,
get the hologram image of when Addison's showing Ben the picture of Sam Beckett. Like his brain's Swiss cheese. He's not going to remember who Sam Beckett was, but it
right,
was cool that we got that promo image from the original
yes,
series
yes,
of that. We get the mentioning of him. We get
yeah,
sprinkles of mentioning of Sam throughout the series. I
mhm.
love the fact that they got one Ernie Hudson, Ghostbuster fan here. Hello,
Yeah,
uh,
I'm like, what? He's there? I'm like,
Ernie
yes, sir.
Hudson, but they made it so he was Black Magic from the Vietnam two-parter, The Leap Home, and
That blew my mind, but that came, I'm like, what?
making that connection. I'm like, okay, you can't tell me he's a part of the project as coincidence. He has to have some kind of like memory, like an echo. And
Yeah,
what made me think that was the classic Quantum Leap episode when Sam leaps into Sam Biederman in the mental institution, gets the electroshock.
yes,
He forgets that
yes,
he's
yes,
Sam Beckett, but the echoes of all the people he leaped into
yeah,
are taking over.
right,
How would he remember all those personalities and how they talked and everything? Which means that when you leap into someone, a little bit of them is carried
Stays
on
with
with
you.
you. It's kind of like
Right.
tracking mud. You
Yeah.
step into a puddle or a car
Yeah.
that has a really bad exhaust. There's
Mhm.
there's particulates that are left as a trail, right?
Mhm.
I mean, I loved it, but for me, what kind of cemented me into watching Quantum Leap the continuation, because
Mhm.
I will never call it a reboot because it wasn't. They kind of continued it on.
They did. Yeah.
When Ben was on the space shuttle,
Yeah.
and he decides that he's going to take literally a leap, jumping from the space shuttle, hoping
Yes.
to reach the ISS, the
Yes.
International Space Station. That to me was one of the biggest feats and, pun intended, quantum leap ever, because we saw Sam jump off of cars or out of a train.
But never out of orbit.
I
As long as
mean,
on planet
in
Earth.
space. I mean,
Nobody can
one
use a train.
mistake and he's gonna float away forever and ever. I mean, to
Mhm.
me, that was one of, and the special effects. I mean, they made that look really good, but I mean, it was very surreal. It was something that
Mhm.
it took things beyond. I like
Yeah.
that they
And
got the original actress who was Al's wife, Beth. They got her
that's
as
amazing.
that was
That
amazing.
yeah.
Um,
I feel like the remake was missing something because it wasn't really about the leaps.
mhm.
It was about the leaps and the other stuff
The
behind the
mission.
scenes.
There was an overall. Can't talk shit.
No, I get
It
it.
was
And
really
overall,
an
yeah,
overall arc, because it wasn't just, oh, we have a leaper and he's traveling
yeah,
through time hoping to make right what once went wrong, hoping the leap is going to be his leap home. It wasn't
yeah,
that. We had, okay, he wasn't trying to prove his theories. He was trying to save his fiance from being killed potentially in the future. And the original rules were you leap into the person's body and that person leaps into your body.
right.
We never got a reference to the waiting room.
No,
We don't even know how that worked. So
right.
if Ben is leaping into that person's physical body,
What are they
where
doing? Yeah.
where's that other person? Are they somehow
Mhm,
displaced in some kind of quantum subspace, so to speak? Um,
mhm.
one people were asking me what was my theory. My theory was they learned from their mistakes. Leon Kanowski from the original series, the hostage taker, the crazy guy who broke out of Project Quantum Leap because he was in Sam's body. Because when he
Okay.
leaped, he somehow had a gun in his hand.
What episode
It's
was this? I'm sorry.
that that was an episode where Al had to go on a manhunt to find Kanowski and bring him back to the project so Sam could leap. Because there was a rule: if Sam could not leap, if the person he leaped into, the leapee,
Mhm.
was not in the waiting room, if they weren't inside the confines of Project Quantum Leap,
Sam couldn't
it was
leap.
like
Right.
out of range, he couldn't leap out.
Okay. I don't
Uh,
remember it, but thank you for that.
no, no, it wasn't Kanowski. Was it Styles? Leon Styles was his name, because Sam leaped into this guy's body. He's holding this one family hostage.
Mhm.
He proves to the mother and daughter that he's not Styles or Kanowski or whatever his name was, and that
Right.
he's really a doctor from the future by the name of Sam Beckett. Like,
Right.
she's got a medical book that she's studying, and he says, pick anything from the book, and I will actually read it word for word.
Mhm.
I'll know what it is.
Right.
you know. But this guy escapes the project, steals Gushy's car, and Al takes the spare hand link and he goes after this guy, and Gushy has to be the pseudo observer in the
Right.
time being. It was one of those really rare, crazy episodes of Quantum Leap. But I was thinking, well, maybe they learned from that mistake.
Mhm.
Because so many people they wake up in a white room, they think they're
Yeah.
abducted by aliens, right?
We're dead. Yeah.
So they're like, okay, we're gonna avoid that by maybe we'll keep his body permanently sedated.
Mhm.
That's where my theory was, but we
Mhm.
never found out, like, okay, what was the waiting room? Are they keeping him like in a medical bay where he's just sedated, you know, so that the people who leap into him, they're never none the wiser. They just have weird dreams. You know,
Now my wanting for the continuation. Always seemed like something was missing in the series. Obviously, some details that you and I were discussing a couple seconds ago.
are you going to go with the Evil Leapers?
Yes, that's also was missing. Yes, that
I mean, we kind of had that because
did.
with
Yeah,
with Leaper X, we never found out.
yes.
See, the thing is, with Leaper X, we never found out what contingent or where he was leaping from. Was he leaping from a future version of Project Quantum Leap there in Los Angeles, or
Mhm.
was he coming from another project? And by them changing things in the future,
Yeah.
season 2, hint, hint, wink, wink, spoilers.
Mhm. Yep.
By changing the things that they changed, does that prevent Leaper X from even happening and thereby negating the whole mission for Ben to try and save Addison? But then that's also kind of a grandfather paradox, or what's called, I know, correct me if, no, not a grandfather paradox, but a bootstrap paradox. Because how can you go back and undo something if it never happened to begin with? You still have to go through that event in order to ensure that everything turns out the way it did. So, I mean,
Okay.
we
I'm
never
gonna
got.
toss this.
Go ahead.
Okay. My brain knows. I thank you for the bootstrap thing that we were just you referenced there. My brain goes to the if you do one decision, there's an alternate Earth for that alternate
Yeah.
decision. So that's where my brain went to when you were
Yeah.
talking about that.
Alternate timelines. Basically, if you take
Yes, yes,
like
yes.
a rope, a multi-strand rope, every time you
Right.
make a decision, another strand unravels and unravels and unravels, which is basically sliders. You know, one world where
Yes.
green means go, and another world where red means go. You know, you create those alternate but parallel universes
Yep.
or timelines.
Yep.
And with time travelers, I mean, Back to the Future, perfect example.
Yes.
Marty's family is living his crappy life, but he goes back, intervenes. He thinks he's fixed everything, but now he's inadvertently made his family's life
Better.
tremendously better. But he remembers that because he crossed over, he returned into a different timeline, which means that he killed that Marty.
Yes.
That Marty would have had to have vanished, or
Yes.
is it possible that that other Marty is still existing, but time has to catch up and eventually erase him? There's a deleted scene in Back to the Future 2 when old Biff returns that he actually fades out of existence because he's altered
Right.
time, but time hasn't fully caught up with everyone else because it's written in the script. Because technically speaking, when he fades, Doc and Marty and the DeLorean should be fading too, but they don't.
Yeah.
Well, because maybe they've traveled so much that they're in a temporal state of grace, so to speak.
Could be.
Because another theory I always had was at first when I heard about I almost said Racer X, Speed Racer, Leaper X. One thing I always thought was, could he be from Lothos, the evil program, the evil Project Quantum Leap from the original series? Because we never found out what time that project was based out of. We always
I like that theory.
we always assumed it was around the time of the regular Project Quantum Leap because the observers kind of had flashy clothing, a lot like Al did, you know. So there was those. My wife kept going with Quantum Leap, and I started to like it. Are you talking about the new Quantum Leap or the original Archer? Let us know. But not, yeah. I mean, that show, it had a lot of potential. I know there's still campaigns to try and get it over to Netflix or somewhere else.
I was just about to say
Yeah,
streaming.
I mean, I would love to see it happen. I just don't see. I don't see it happening because you don't see enough happening. Like usually when you see something, you're hearing about it repeatedly over and over again. I think Ernie Hudson's probably moving on to other projects. Although it was great that they explained that he had memories, visions of Sam Beckett after the leap. That he had this driving force that was pushing him to find out who this man was. And of course, with with the military, especially the Marines, you don't leave a man behind. And he felt that because if it wasn't for Sam, he would be dead.
Mm-hmm.
The whole platoon was wiped out.
Right.
So, I mean, I love that they brought that character forward. And of all things, that he actually winds up with Al's wife. That's even a little weird at times, but
Yeah.
But how the show ended with Addison jumping in the accelerator, it was supposed to bring Ben back.
Right.
The very last
So
episode,
what
it was supposed to
happened
bring
there?
him back, but she winds up leaping to where he is. But the problem with that is Ben's original program is concluded now, but he's still leaping aimlessly, right? Or so we think. What I think is this is a new version of Ziggy,
Right.
and I think Ziggy is controlling his leaps now, which is very much a precursor to Lothos potentially, because we knew that Lothos was supposedly controlling the leaps. The fact that they broke the rule that Ben only leaps within his own lifetime, he was leaping out of his lifetime.
Yeah.
That
Because
to
we
me,
got the 1800s episode.
yeah, I get that it was a new accelerator.
Right.
It was a new program that obviously he was working on for years.
Right.
But what I always wondered was, and this is a storyline I wish they did, when it got to the point where it looked like that they were going to be closed out of the project.
Mm-hmm.
My hope was that they would be able to go back to Stalin Gates, New Mexico, the original project base, and maybe use remnants of the old project to, I mean, obviously you can explain away that Janice had the hand link because her father kept it as a memento. But she made her own holographic imaging chamber. Yeah, I mean,
my next question is where? I mean, that's not cheap. Number one, who's financing that? That just leads to more questions.
Well, to me, I viewed her as a hacker, so she probably hacked money.
Yeah.
I mean, there's always government projects and funds that you can, there are black programs that nobody knows and nobody should know. And she probably hacked her way into getting those finances and, made the government, pay for it. That's one way to look at it. But I always wanted it like they go back to the old project and they're using the old imaging chamber, because I thought that would have been kind of a fun, even if it's only for 1 or 2 episodes, it would have been fun and it would have grabbed some of the older fans into it,
Okay, if you're gonna use the old imaging chamber,
yes.
I'm wondering if your brain's where my brain is.
Hey, Z Hunter, what was that?
Oh, sorry. I'm just daydreaming for a second. Was wondering if you use the old imaging chamber, it has Sam's DNA. Thus, you have a chance of finding Sam.
Well, I was actually attempting to write a fan fiction at one point in time. This is my theory. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, the imaging chamber and the accelerator, they didn't exactly have Sam's DNA because Al would lock on through his mesons and neurons. Basically, their brainwaves were able to sync up because they were such good friends. Okay. That's why when Dr. Beeks was brought in with Al had to hold on to her just so Sam could see her in the in that one episode where he's in the mental ward as Sam Biederman.
Okay.
That's the only reason Dr. Beeks could even appear to him. And when Gushy tried to sync up with Al or try to sync up with Sam, he was kind of phasing in and out and his voice could hardly come through because their brain waves couldn't sync up right. That's one of the main reasons why you have to be choosy about who your leaper is, who your observer is. Their brain waves kind of have to sync up. If you ever saw the movie Pacific Rim, you got you got to have people who are drift compatible.
Right.
So it's kind of that thing. One thing that I thought they should have done was the very first episode of the new Quantum Leap. They had Deborah Pratt, the original voice of Ziggy, do the intro. That's the only episode they had her do the intro.
Huh.
I'm like, you sons of, I was like,
Mm-hmm.
How are you going to do that just for one episode? To pay her for the rights to do all the episodes,
Right.
just so you can play the intro.
Mm-hmm.
Because that was part of it, was Quantum Leap hearing her voice in front of every episode.
Yeah.
But then they had Addison doing it. I'm sorry, she just doesn't have the same ring to it.
No.
And we never heard. And here's the thing that killed me was the original series. You had Ziggy talking to everyone at the project. Remember when
Yeah.
Sam leaps back and he was at the project? Ziggy was talking to everyone.
Yes.
The new Quantum Leap, Ziggy doesn't talk.
No.
And we
No.
never found out what was causing Ziggy to go evil, because at one point in season 1, they had to shut Ziggy down.
Yes.
They never explained away getting rid of the virus or whatever was causing Ziggy to be that way, which that made me think precursor to Lothos.
Okay.
Yes, Deborah Pratt was the voice of Ziggy. Archer's like, that was Ziggy? Deborah Pratt, who is known for producing many TV shows, and she was once married to Don Belisario, the creator and executive producer of Quantum Leap. She was also best known for Airwolf.
I was always wanting to get into that
was
series,
her.
though.
And she also appeared in one episode of Quantum Leap. She was on screen for one episode. Not just voice of Ziggy, but she actually played a character. Something I think was called Dear Trorian, where she played someone that was imploring a spiritual investigator. And Sam found all these recordings. All these vocal recordings were trying to drive her insane, making her think she was hearing a dead relative.
Right.
Okay. So she was the voice of Ziggy. I really wish they would have had her, because I'm like, okay, they brought her on for the intro. They gotta have her back as Ziggy, right? And that never happens.
Right.
That always drove me a bit cuckoo, a bit crazy. I love the fact that we got Ben to leap into the future at least once. He wasn't stable, and the accelerator was trying to pull him back. So we actually saw that the accelerator, in a way, was sentient. Why? I mean, the accelerator is detecting that Ben is somewhere in the future where he shouldn't be, because that just messes with all kinds of timelines right there. So why would it keep trying to pull him back? There has to be some kind of AI component to it, whether it's Ziggy or some other entity.
Now, you were talking AI a couple of seconds ago. I was thinking of this reboot as Ziggy is AI, because we are not in the future like we were with the original. We are
we were in our present now. Yeah.
Which I'm like, huh?
Well, I mean, the original show technically took place in 1999. Well, 95 to 99. Even though from our perspective, it was actually taking place from 1989 to 93.
Correct.
I remember that because I would actually watch it with my mom. And I remember that it ended in 1993 because after the show ended, I remember doing an art project 2 years later in high school. Because I was big into writing in high school. I went to a vocational high school. It was known as Emerson Vocational in Buffalo. It kind of doesn't exist anymore. But what happened was I already did my art credits, and I had extra study, and I would have extra study halls. They're like, well, do you want to take another art course? But yeah, sure. I took studio and art. They knew the teacher knew I was big into writing. So she says, well, okay, tell you what I want you to do, since you really don't need this to pass. You can do an independent project. You write a story and you just illustrate it, kind of like a graphic novel or a comic book, and that'll be your project for the year. And you know what I chose.
Yeah. 100%
I chose Quantum Leap.
Yeah.
I mean, I wish I still had the pictures, because I actually drew Sam when he's in Vietnam with the machine gun leaping.
Oh, fun.
So I mean, I had some really good ones, but my fan theory I came up with, if I was going to write a Quantum Leap or a way to bring Sam back, my premise was, okay, there's a young man that Sam once leaped into once. Okay. this young man has memories,
Mhm.
fragments of things that he can't explain. So
Right.
what he does basically, and just so happens that he's the grandson of Mo Stein, Captain Galaxy.
Okay.
So there's even a more of a stronger link. Like as a young man, he finds his grandfather's old time machine that he once built, and he
Okay.
builds his own version, a little bit more upgraded and more stable.
Right.
He's trying to leap. He's making an attempt to try to leap himself. At the
Mhm.
same time, the project is trying to bring Sam back. But Sam once leaped into this kid by this time he's like in his mid-20s, but when he was
Yeah.
a teenager, Sam once leaped into him. So there's a fragment, a trace, an echo of Sam in him. The
Mhm.
project is trying to track Sam a lot like tracking particulates like an exhaust, right?
Right.
Or like an oil leak. They find fragments. Finally, they find a strong enough fragment that they try to lock on. They find him. They think it's Sam, but they get a visual and they see that it's not Sam, but there's something strange about this young man. And they notice that he's built a very poor accelerator and it's falling apart as we speak.
Mhm.
There's explosions. He's going to die in minutes. The
Right.
whole thing's going to go up. So what they do is they actually lock on to him and try to save him. They pull
Okay.
him to the future. But for some
Mhm.
reason they're testing him. They're seeing that for some reason there's a strong essence or a strong energy similar to Sam in him. So they figure that some part of Sam is still inside of him and it
Mhm.
might be strong enough to grab Sam. They explained it to him. This guy, he doesn't have much of a life. He's
Yeah.
lives a bit of a loner life, but he's
Right.
a good person in general.
Mhm.
And Ziggy confirms all this. So they
Right.
propose to him, we can save Sam, with your help, we think we can save Sam, but that means that you would become the leaper instead. And he does.
Mm.
It brings Sam back to the project, but now this guy is
Big
leaping through
guy's
time.
gone. Yeah.
So it was this weird kind of like crazy little story I kind of cooked up because that's what I thought would be a progression for Quantum Leap. Bring Sam back, save Sam, and have
Right.
someone leaping in time. And now that person is like maybe you have one of Al's daughters as his observer, or hell, even Sammy Joe, Sam's daughter.
Yeah.
And that's another character I was surprised they didn't bring back because she was the one working on a theory to save Sam at the end of the series.
Right.
But we
Yeah,
don't
there
get
was a
any
lot of missed
reference of Sammy Joe
opportunities.
Fuller. So
Yeah, there was a lot of missed opportunities.
yeah. Well, it's past 11 o'clock. I'm going to wrap this up. I mean, we went another, almost 45 minutes just talking Quantum Leap.
I know, I had
We're
a
both
great
nerds.
time. Oh yeah.
I mean, it's definitely, I mean, to me, it was one of those shows because he was a hero, didn't have
Yeah.
any superpowers. All he had was somebody who was basically invisible to everyone except for dogs and children
Yeah.
for help. I mean, it was a great show. The new
Yeah.
show had a different kind of element to it.
Yeah.
Maybe we can do something where we review season 2.
I would love
Maybe
that.
we can set that up, or we
Live
can
or
do.
not, I would love that.
I mean, you can rewatch it on Peacock.
Yeah.
That's where I'm rewatching it. I mean, we can
Mhm.
do something where we'll do each episode, kind of do Leapcast Part 2, and
Yeah.
I know one other person who would like to participate, and
Okay.
but we have to check with his schedule.
Right.
But it was one thing that always irked me was I liked the storyline between Ben and this woman in season 2, how they kept meeting each other.
Oh yeah.
I was almost thinking like, could she wind up leaping at some point so they could be a couple, kind of like Sam and Aaliyah,
Yeah.
but that never
Mm.
happened. So we'll see. Who knows? Maybe there will be another iteration of Quantum Leap. Maybe the show will come back. I mean, at the very least, I would like them to wrap it up as maybe a 2 or 3 hour TV event.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but the fact that they've announced that the show is dead in the water, I still
Okay.
hope for something to come back. They did that for Timeless.
Yeah.
They did a finale
movie.
for Timeless.
Yep.
So I mean, you could do
Mhm.
something where, because I mean, from the show perspective, right at the end, you have Addison and Ben in the same place. Who's to say that they'll leap together? They have to hold on to each other in order to leap. At least that was the
Yeah.
rules from the old show, but that might
Right.
not be here. So there's a lot of questions to it. And the fact is, why did the accelerator let her leap now when it didn't allow her to leap when Ben was missing? More questions.
What if it was AI induced, whereas the AI would know something humans did not?
I mean, there could be a lot of theories. They could be like,
Okay.
what they took a brain scan of Sam and it's inside
Yeah.
that version of Ziggy. But what if it's not a good version of Sam? Everyone has a dark side.
Right. Yeah.
So, but I want to thank you for coming on Tuesday Night
Thank you.
Talks. This is
That's
our
fine.
longest Tuesday Night Talks ever. 3
Well,
hours
what's your
and
Western
9
Europe?
minutes.
We love to geek out.
Hey, that's the thing. A lot of my streams, it's all about, I say I'm going to do this time. We go much
Yeah.
longer, especially
course.
when we're geeking out about stuff. It is
Yeah.
a thing. I want to say hello to Collecting with Cool, good friend of the channel. Archer, Zombie, everybody who is hanging out here. You guys are awesome. You're listening to us ramble on. And by the way, anyone out there who's potentially watching this, or anyone who knows someone who's trying to grow a YouTube channel, if you want to come on Tuesday Night Talks, you want to promote your channel, you got a business, you got a side hustle you want to promote, just email me at davesdimension78@gmail.com or message me on Daves_dimension on Instagram. And please don't forget about Stream for the Cure. It's been scrolling at the bottom of the screen right there. We have a 10-hour open stream. There's giveaways, but to be in the giveaways, you're going to donate $10 to Ride for Roswell. The link is in the video description below. Take a screenshot, send that to me through one of those methods, either Instagram or email, and send me your first and last name and your screen name, and you're entered in on all the wheels, guys. $10 gets you in on all the wheels. It's a no-brainer. Right, Trey? Right. Exactly. So also we have the links to David's life and also Gamr for Life, which is his gaming channel. So please go ahead and check that out. And I think I talked enough for about 3.5 hours, guys. What do you say? I swear I'm going to lose my voice doing this, and then at work, good thing I'm a dispatcher for an HVAC company. So, guys, I want to thank everyone for coming through. And as always, you know what I'm going to say. I say it every single time. Keep on busting, and I'm always going to catch you guys on the flip side. Take care.
I've got an itch I can't scratch, I'm missing a piece that completes a whole part of me, an open wound scar to see. Everybody come here, gather round, welcome to the freak show, the best in town. What the hell's wrong with me? I don't get along with anybody, honestly. I've been living in my own head, constantly